guilty of crime.
We're back. Hello, everybody. What's up? I'm your host, Jay, with Guilty of Crime, and we're back. Happy Tuesday, everyone. Good to see you. How y'all doing? I'm glad you're here. Come on in, guys. Hit that like button. Subscribe if you haven't. Get a membership if you can. I hope yesterday y'all enjoyed Members Only Monday. All right? Good to see you. Tara's in the house. I know I was a couple minutes late. But, you know, I'm getting older. It's birthday month. I'm going to be 47, and time flies. Guys, hello, Shadow. How you doing? Good to see you. Lady for Justice, Tony, Raw, Beanie, 429. How you doing? Deb, always a pleasure. All the mods, Synth, Kel. Cuffy's here. How you doing, girl? Kel. Good to see you, Cuffy. All the mods. Mama Pearl, love you, Mom. Kathy's back. What's up? Good to see you. How's everyone doing today? Let's get hyped up because I know I got to hype myself up. I got tired and I was like, I don't know. I'm tired. Should I? You know, I'm not going to stop because I'm tired. Tanya, hello. How's everyone doing? I'm glad you're here today. If you're looking for coverage, well, you're in the right place because Ohio House of Horrors. Well, what else was found and what else will be found? Like I said, I wonder if they're going to dig and find extra remains or bodies or what. I mean, we're talking about conjoined twins, right? Did they bury them somewhere? What happened? I mean, I don't know how it can get much worse. All right. So one mom, not 16 kids, but 18 kids, 16 rescued, and conjoined twins. What? Guys, there's so much more. I'm also going to get another set of twins, Lady for Justice. Now, twins one set. That's the fourth set of twins. But make that make sense. Make that match the dates. We're going to talk about that because, like I said in the first episode, just pure speculation. On the first episode, I said there's got to be some kind of incest. The math ain't mathin'. We're going to play a segment for you that they spoke about that on News Nation. Then I also said, what else are they going to find? Are there going to be bodies? What's going to happen? What's going to go down with this? Well, look at that. She had a fourth set of twins in 2022. Those are aside from the three other ones, and those were joined at the chest, guys. All right. And no shade to Ohio, guys. Last time I got somebody coming in here and being like, oh, it's not as shiny and happy as California, but you don't got to talk about Ohio. I didn't. I said Ohio. This is the third case this year, or in the last year, not 2026, but between now and 2025, that there's been a house of horrors in Ohio. All right, so let's make that clear. Context does matter. Guys, I'm getting to all of it today, so I'm glad to hear other people have good coverage. Let's not say that while I'm covering this, guys. Anyway, yes, they have good coverage. I'm not using anyone's coverage. As a matter of fact, I did episode 1 for 3 hours. I think it gave a lot to this, a lot more than a lot of people put out there. But they cut it out because the news station didn't want me using their clips. So today we're going to be careful. All right. 16 kids. Now we know there's 2 more somewhere. And family's talking, guys. The family, the brother is posting on there saying this bitch had 20 kids, not 18. I'm telling you, it gets crazier and crazier. And I got to tell you something else. They are claiming to not be fit for jail. I can't. What am I say to that? What do you mean you're not fit for jail? You kept 12 kids in a room for years, a 12 by 12 room with feces and shit and maggots and flies and so many things, guys. I got pictures today. My goodness. I mean, how could you say you're not fit for jail when the children were not only living like that, folks, but 2 of them were flight lifted to the ICU, and they say they were 24 hours away from being dead. Okay. So when you hear, we're going to hear all sides of this shit today. All right, guys, we're going to hear all of it today. And when I say that, what I mean is we're going to hear all the updates. They were just in court today. They waived their preliminary hearing. We're going to find out what they said, what grandpa's trying to do to get out of this, what everyone else is doing, what they're saying, and what their defense attorney is claiming. Guys, I'm telling you, this doesn't make sense. All right, Michael, good to see you, my friend. Big Fish tapping in. You guys come on, you know the drill. Hit that like button, subscribe, get a membership, and hype the channel when you can. All right, I'm telling you guys, we will definitely do that. We just got to get you from the future into the past a little bit, all right? Because you're in the future, my friend. It's only Tuesday here. It's Tuesday at 4:18 p.m. All right, my love, but I'm totally down. I'm telling you guys. I'm telling you. All right, big hugs to everyone. Girl, Clark, we're going to get into this. We're going to keep counting. I'm glad we all know how to count today because it takes a lot to get up to that number with that amount of people and things going on, and then the living conditions for them to say that they're not fit to be. Come on, guys, it's ridiculous. So y'all got to hear all sides. I don't care who covered this. You haven't heard it from me. Now, I did watch Fugitive TV's coverage. Kudos to his 54 minutes. It's all in my 3-hour one. This is all new today, guys. All of this, all new, starting right now. All right, guys, so let's get into it. Good to see you, Cuff You. Oh, that's what I asked you. Is she the victim? Is mom the victim in this case? Because that's what's being portrayed about. That's what's being portrayed with this family. All of them are being charged the same thing, 68 counts of neglect and 2 additional counts for higher child endangerment because 2 almost died. There's so much, guys, so much. Yeah, you're in the future, 9:18 a.m. I'm still on Tuesday. All right. So let's get this straight so you guys understand who the people are. All right. That's Christina Siders. That is grandma. That is the mother of Gary Siders Jr. All right. Gary Siders Sr. is obviously the dad of Gary Siders Jr. And Elizabeth Siders is supposed to be that sole breeder that's just knocking out kids since she was 13 to 15 years old. And you know what? There are some big, you know why, Crazy Jane? Because her own brother said that. So when I count the children, I count 18 of them, but I don't know about her first ones. And KHC is right. The family does. She had another kid before having a boatload of kids with these people. So good to see you guys. Crazy. Law enforcement is asking people to back off of this case because, frankly, they're putting junk out there. They're not putting documentation. They're throwing AI up with some ugly faces and just putting out nonsense that doesn't make sense. So be careful. Watch your sources, number 1. Number 2, they also say, watch your sources where you're watching this and do not donate to the children unless you know that it's a foundation or a place that is going to use that money for kids, okay, for the kids, because that's what's happening. People are popping up with GoFundMes and claiming it's for the children, okay? We don't even know what the children look like. We now know that the children can talk and they can read. So this is crazy. That's what I'm saying, Raw Beanie. There's a discrepancy We're going to get into it. I first covered this. There was 16. Now 2 more. That's 18. Plus the one that she had prior would be 19. And 20 would be the one that her brother knows about. Not me. I wasn't there. She met Gary Siders, Elizabeth, when she was 13. By 15, they were married. And by 39, they would have 19 to 20 kids later. But are they all from one person, one dad? I don't know. They're doing DNA testing right now, my friends. All right. They are literally doing DNA testing. So what I'm going to do real quick so I can get these pictures up and everything, I'm going to pop this up. It just came out minutes ago. They went into court, waived their preliminary hearing, said that they are not fit to be in jail. And well, let's listen to this so I can get the pictures and everything ready for you.
Kids removed from a home described as deplorable. Thanks for joining us. I'm Amanda Barron.
I'm Marilyn McCullough. We're told they're all in safe environments right now. Ohio officials say they're doing everything they can to make sure the children get the care and services they need. But because of privacy laws, they can't release specifics about the children's conditions. Meanwhile, today, the people accused in the case, the Siders family, both couples, all made the same legal move in their criminal cases. And 13 News reporter Sarah Davis is continuing to uncover new details in the investigation.
All right, Sarah, what did you learn about the 2 couples today?
Well, Amanda, Marilee, all 4 Siders were expected to appear in this courthouse behind me today, but they did not. They actually waived those preliminary hearings. We have learned, however, that at least 2 of the Siders are looking for a bond reduction. That's according to their attorneys who spoke with us today.
Guys, this is a joke. A bond reduction and them not being fit for jail is an absolute joke. And when you hear what the defense attorney has to say, this is why I'm covering this episode. Yes, I want to cover Javea Harris, and yes, I'm going to cover Javea, but they're doing a massive search for her today that is supposed to be fruitful. So I can report on her tomorrow. But today, guys, you guys have to weigh in on this. It just doesn't make sense. That DNA is going to show who the parents are, who the father is. Is there incest? Everybody's speculating that there's incest going on in this family. Guys, there's a lot today. Buckle up, buckle in. Let's continue.
Gary Siders Sr.'s attorney has already filed a motion, and Elizabeth's is planning to. They say they don't believe their clients are fit for jail or a flight risk.
Concerns about Mr. Siders' competence, whether he is suffering from mental health issues, from diminished capacity, et cetera. So to be perfectly blunt, if a person like that is sitting in jail, that is a bit of an affront to me. I don't think he belongs in jail. I think right now he belongs out of jail so we can address.
Don't you guys think jail would be more suited than that house? Because that house had 16 kids and 4 adults and other people's name registered. And what landed them in this predicament in the first place was that the father of all the children allegedly was being a creepy pedo. All right. And when I say that, he was doing indecent exposure things that we talked about on the last episode. So welcome in. If you're still rolling in, hello, Royal Bitch X. Good to see ya. How you doing? It's been a minute. Foxy, I missed you yesterday. How you doing? All right, so they have decent attorneys, guys. I'm surprised.
Those medical issues and whatever mental health issues he's dealing with.
At this point in time, we are still not sure, at least at my office, whether my client is a victim herself or not. I have previously stated that she does not necessarily characterize herself as a victim, but the investigation from the prosecutor's office, the investigation from my office is still ongoing. So with all of that and taking all of that into consideration.
Guys, they're building a strategy at this very moment. Is she going to be considered a victim? Oh, I'm getting to it, Christine. Hold your horses and buckle up.
We anticipate filing a motion to modify Elizabeth's bond.
The next step in this case is the grand jury, as all 4 defendants have yet to be indicted. And as of this evening, all 4 are still being held on a $300,000 bond. Reporting live in Vinton County, Sarah Davis, 13 News.
All right. I love people's impatience. All right, you saw what just happened there, right? That was what court. That was a quick court. There's lots of other court images, and I frankly don't care that much about it. But let's take a look at this real quick, because in the new information here is why this is happening, okay? Families popping up, guys. family is popping up and they're saying a lot of different things. New information is emerging about 33-year-old, I'm sorry, I said 39 earlier. 33-year-old Elizabeth Siders. Is she the victim? She's 33 years old and allegedly has given birth to 20 children. Now, the mother of 16 children found living in deplorable conditions in Hamden, Ohio. According to her attorney, Thomas Stoley, says Elizabeth married Gary Siders when she was just 15 years old after leaving high school. Gary, who was 18 at the time, was working as a DoorDash driver. Now, Stoley said all 16 children are biologically Elizabeth and Gary's in an interview with ABC6. He also said Elizabeth was exhausted, crying, and repeatedly asked when she can see her children and whether they were okay, and when he visited her in jail. Also, I found Facebook posts, a lot of people found Facebook posts from Elizabeth's mother and brother. Her brother claims Elizabeth was indoctrinated. Take that how you want to. Elizabeth was indoctrinated, and he said he had only recently seen her again after age 15 or after 15 years. He mentions welfare and that the state knows something. I also found a post from her mother who posted an old photo of Elizabeth. So I ask you, as we talk about this case that unfolds, is she a victim in this? This is what she used to look like. This is Elizabeth. She sent a happy birthday to her mom when she was 28 years old. Guys, this is her 5 years ago. That's her now, Elizabeth Siders, and that was her when she was 28. That was 5 years ago. That she doesn't even look recognizable. All right. So families weighing in, and this is what they're saying. All right. First, let's take a look at the brother. What is indoctrinated? What is he trying to say? Drop your comments in chat if you know. Now, listen, her brother said, my sister just wrapped her life up due to indoctrination. It is 100% real. 20 kids and younger than me. The math equals immature piece of shit man involved. I met this dude a couple months ago, shook my hand like a baby with super soft hands, definitely never worked a hard day in his life. I should have took him out that night. I was thinking about it, but my sister, I was happy to see, been 15 years. You lost touch with your family, followed another look what happened, is what he's saying. The family is not happy by this, and obviously they didn't know what was going on there. All right. And then another one that says, got a lot of Facebook investigators. You're all in for a ride. I've been telling you, my remorse, I don't care. I really don't. That's sad. I tried many times. Ask my ex. She knows. I was the only one harassing. I love my sister. However, everyone knew about it, guys. All right. I told everyone, welfare supporters to the maximum. So the state knows something. I don't get it. Just leave me alone is what he's saying. So this is the theory of them knowing, and the town knowing, and the village of people knowing. They knew, guys. They knew. And the brother saying she was indoctrinated. All the family is saying are saying things like that. So at what point did Elizabeth go from victim to being part of the problem? I ask you. Now, I don't have an answer for that, but I'm going to ask you. All right, come on in, guys. Hit that like button. Don't forget to hit the like button. That's free. We have a goal up. If you can help with the goal, that would be awesome. All right, so let's drop out of here, because we're going to also, like I said, I ask you, do you think that she's the victim in this case? I have some other things I want to share with you before I get to that. Okay, so that's some information about her. And then there she is. See, this is Ohio mom 5 years prior. Lawyers say she was a teenage bride, and while newly surfaced family posts claim she was indoctrinated and estranged from them for years. All right, so that clicked onto something else, but you can see the difference, right? I hope you can see the difference, because I mean, it is a life-changing difference. Okay, all right. So let's get on to you. We're going to talk more about Elizabeth and all of that stuff. So let me get to that. Let's continue here a little bit more. I have so many things to share with you guys. Okay, so this was some of the paperwork that came out today. Ohio House of Horrors. They all waived their right to a preliminary hearing. They want it done, guys. They want to finish, and they think they're getting out. Prosecutors moved to appoint Highland County prosecutor Aneka Collins as a special prosecutor. Elizabeth Siders' attorney, Thomas Stoley, filed a jury demand, while Gary Siders Sr.'s attorneys asked the court to reduce his $300,000 bond, citing his medical condition. All 4 defendants have pleaded not guilty. Now, here is the plaintiff, Elizabeth Siders. All right, this is July 7th, 2026, stamped this morning. Now comes the defendant by and through on behalf of counsel and hereby demands a jury trial in the above entitled cause provided for Ohio Revised Code and protected by 16th and 14th Amendment. There's her lawyer, signed and sealed. We're going to trial. We're going to hear about this. DNA testing is underway, guys. All right. And the new records reveal shocking Siders family past, which we're getting into that right now. I'm going to drop this down and we're going to get into that. All right. So let's take a look at the past. What happened? The conjoined twins years before daughters. How many children do they have? Anyone know? Can we count that high? All right, let's go. All right. Family past, new records, guys. Everything's coming out now because if they want a trial, especially the mother, that means that everything's got to be put into the court system, and it's got to be filed, and motions got to be approved, and dates and hearings and things like that. All the legal jargon's got to happen. All right. Yeah, she looks like she needs. They all look like zombies. It's like House of 1,000 Corpses. I know. I know their last name is Siders, but I don't care. We're just gonna call them the House of 1,000 Corpses. They're the zombie family. All right, let's continue. Good to see everyone. I'm gonna read you guys some articles for a bit. So if I don't answer you, you guys can make do with the beautiful mods in chat. They know. All right, new records reveal shocking Siders family past. All right. The case does grow ever more disturbing as newly obtained records reveal Elizabeth lost premature conjoined twin daughters years before the prosecutors say 16 children were found living in squalor. All right, there's the four what is it, like, it's also Saw is Family. It's like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie. All right, that's what they look like. Now the Siders family saga is going to continue for quite a bit. It's grown more twisted, tragic, and bizarre as the new details emerge. All right, newly obtained records shed additional light on the background of the Ohio couple accused of endangering their 16 children, revealing that Elizabeth Siders, at just 15 when she married Gary Siders, then 18. Now, even more shocking, the couple previously lost premature conjoined twin daughters shortly after birth. All right, I'm going to put that up too because they have a little like a little grave type of marker. Now, according to marriage records obtained by Mason County Courthouse in West Virginia and first reported by W.K13, Gary Siders Jr., who's now 36, and Elizabeth, sorry, I keep saying Siders, it's Siders, now 33, were married on March 31st, 2008, after receiving the required consent from Elizabeth's parents and the presiding judge because she was a minor. Guys, she was a minor, 13 years old when she met Gary. Now, the records list Elizabeth as 15 and Gary 18. At the time, they both lived in Gallia County, Ohio. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right, Gallia, but I'm not from there. Just 2 houses apart. The records also indicate Gary had completed the 9th grade, while Elizabeth had only completed 8th grade before their marriage. Now, separately, Ohio vital statistic records show the couple had twin daughters, Bailey Lee Siders and Faith Lee Siders. This is in 2022, guys. They were born and died on November 20th of 2022 at the Riverside Methodist Hospital in Columbus. Now, the records indicate the girls were delivered at 24 weeks gestation and were diagnosed as, I'm not really sure how to, thoracopagus conjoined twins, which means a condition in which the twins are joined at the chest that medical literature identifies as the most common form of conjoined twins. All right, their death were ruled natural causes, and it makes me wonder, were there other deaths in between and before? Now, the twins, guys, those twins are not referenced in any of the criminal complaints filed against the Siders family. Gary Siders and Elizabeth, Gary Siders Sr. and Christina each face 16 counts of felony child endangerment after authorities removed 16 children from the family's Vinton County home on June 30th. Prosecutors have not alleged any criminal wrongdoing related to the twins' birth or to their death. All right, so that came out, and I don't want to pull that back up, but I'll put this up there. So we found 2 more kids, and the math ain't mathing. You're going to see what I mean in a second. All right, come on in, guys, my beautiful people. Love you guys. Big hugs. Shout out to Sharon. I don't know if Sharon Belko is here, but send love to Sharon, okay? She heard us sending out love to her yesterday, and it made her happy. So those are the other 2 that were born in 2022, conjoined twins at the chest. So, guys, that's 16 plus 2 is 18 thus far. All right. So that's 18 kids that she's carried, delivered, whatever. And there's more. The family claims that there are more. All right. So I think that's the end of this. Oh, wait. Hold on. Newly surfaced records, another layer to the case. Hold on. Let me make sure we're on the right. Let me remove this. All right. So the newly surfaced records add another layer to the case that drew national attention. All right. Now they're scheduled to return on July 9th. Now, the reason they got there was because Gary Siders Jr. had a warrant that stemmed from public indecency involving him. So I say pedo things. All right. Grown-ass man with his penis out in public. Now, he's scheduled in 2 days to have to face those misdemeanor charges. There have been reports, however, the court date could be pushed back. Meanwhile, questions continue to mount about Elizabeth's own background. Her attorney, Thomas Stoley, previously reiterated to reporters that she married Gary at 15, left school shortly after, and spent much of her time or her life just raising children. Nothing wrong with that. But when you look like that and you go from that to that with a house full of monsters and multiple children that have died, 2 that are about to die, and 14 others that are described as feral, well, something's wrong. Right? Family members publicly allege that she was indoctrinated and isolated from relatives for years. One brother that stated he hadn't seen her in 15 years before the arrest. And then he also hinted that the state knows something because of the alleged welfare the family may have been receiving. Now, mind you guys, if they're receiving welfare for 16 children, that you don't think that brought attention? All right. Now, there she is before. That doesn't even look like the same girl. That was 5 years ago, my friends. 5 years ago. She was 28 here and 33 here. What happened? All right. Now, again, here's the Jerry Siders Jr. due back in court on Thursday the 9th at 10:45 a.m. It's the indecency charges. There's probably not going to be much on that, but that reportedly led investigators to obtain the June 30th search warrant, during that execution of which they discovered the 16 children. All right. And then I'm not going to pull those ones up again right now. It's just we don't have time for all that. I did that in episode 1. Now, the details have left public wondering whether Elizabeth herself may have been a victim of grooming, coercive control, or abuse before becoming a defendant in the child endangerment case. To date, however, prosecutors have charged Elizabeth alongside all the other 3 adults, and no court has made findings regarding the allegations that she's a victim. The case remains in the very early stages, and they waived their preliminary hearing. They pled not guilty, all 4, and now here we go, back to court. That's not what we're doing right now, but they are. All right, so let's get to this. I also want to tell you Ohio twins in the Cedars neglect case died of natural causes, but victim ages point to incest, former FBI agent says. And then Chris Como, I just wanted you guys to hear me out because we talked about this very lightly in episode 1.
16 kids.
Hold on.
18 months to 18 years old. 16, okay? They were found having lived the last 4 years, not in that little ass crappy house, in a room in the basement that is 12 by 12. Neighbors say they had no idea that the kids lived there. 16 kids, not in school. Cops say some of them were barely able to communicate. 7 of them were taken to the hospital. 2 of them are in critical condition. The parents, the paternal grandparents, are arrested, charged, 16 counts of felony child endangerment. The state attorney general and sheriff said the children looked almost feral.
Most of our livestock was kept in better conditions than the children. It was extremely high presence, I'm sure, of bacterial and human feces. It was just a disgusting scene.
It's not that different than those old commercials you used to see of like kids in Africa, like just.
Now, when you hear the prosecutor speaking like this, and I take you back to court later, you're going to see what a stark difference this is. They go from pure evil to claiming that Elizabeth is a victim and nobody was restrained. Guys, they're saying nobody was restrained. They're saying that, in fact, the 18-year-old and the 16-year-old do talk and they do read and write and they did have social media accounts. They're saying those children weren't locked up and forced to live there at all. All right. So I want you guys to know the opposition that we have in this case. That's going to be a wild opposition for us to take in and for the jury. All right. So it's just I can't understand. DNA testing's coming back, and then we'll find out who's who and what's what. At least then we'll find out if there's incest was there. All right, let's continue. Come on in, guys. They called him feral. You heard that.
Where they were covered in bugs and squatting and had that like distant look in their eyes. It's terrible. I mean, it is absolutely terrible.
So, well, how did it happen? Okay, we don't need these guys to tell us how bad it is. We get that, right? We get it. How does this happen? Is it the neighbors? Is it the government? How? I never heard anything like this. Let's bring in former FBI Special Agent Jennifer Coffindaffer, criminal defense attorney Mark Garagos. Now, I'll give you the easiest comp is J.C. Dugard. But here's the difference. You're dealing with 3-4 kids, and the system did know Coffindaffer. They went multiple times. They just got duped.
You know what? That's exactly the case I couldn't think about. I wanted to refer to of the case that he just referred to, of them just keep having children in the backyard under all the tents for 18 years. Guys, what's happening? And yes, Cuff You, the community is coming together. They are helping, but I have at least a few minutes to talk about that because I don't want anybody to go off and help the wrong community or the wrong people. All right. So I got you. That's coming up. Don't worry. I got everything covered today. And if I don't, then we'll go back and talk about it.
By that dirtbag that had stolen them in the first place. How does someone get away with something of this scale? Or should I not be surprised you heard about it all the time?
You get away with it because you can seal it by moving over and over again. You don't let the children out of the house, and you keep them in that basement.
But who even does something like this, Garagos? Like, we don't know if there was a financial profit. Is this just like, just psychos?
I was going to say, you hate to judge a book by its cover, but I do that for a living. And if you take one look, this does not look like people who are in their right mind. And obviously, if any of this is, if even 15% of this is true, it's horrifying.
Agreed. That's why it's such a stark difference to hear testimony and hear from the lawyer, Elizabeth Siders' lawyer, claiming she's a victim, and anything else besides them being evil monsters. It's hard to digest that, and that's why we're going over this today, because it really is hard to digest. I'm telling you. Now, hey, Mark Garagos, look at him. And Coffindoffer's always in everything, but kudos to her. She looks pretty today, right? Right. Okay, let's continue. Oh.
But also, like, what does it speak to? Don't we have to do a better job of, like, looking after each other, Mark, when a society can allow this kind of depravity?
I don't understand. I think probably the thing that strikes me the most is the span of the ages. I mean, to 18 months to 18 years is just stunning in terms of that. And how do you maintain this? I just don't.
Yeah.
When they're talking about it being a feral quality, that I think that's actually a pretty good use of the word.
I mean, just completely.
Chris, I gotta say here,
it's not civilized, is I guess the best way I'd put it. So
that's for
hard
sure.
to look at it. Yeah, it's hard to look at it through a prism of any way to rationally digest this or discuss this.
Yeah, I got it.
Absent some other explanation.
I agree.
Chris,
And Jen, you got part of that with the mom.
Yeah, I truly believe it's not just about the mother. I think there are going to be other charges with incest. If you look at the number of years in between this.
I'm telling you guys, you don't have to be a rocket scientist to put these numbers together. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be interesting to see the DNA coming back. And I really, truly hope that we're not finding grandpa knocking up Elizabeth. Because imagine that. No, we don't want to. But seriously. All right.
I believe these older children, the females that were able to be of childbearing years, I think they're going to have to do full DNA to see really who the parents are of all of these children. They also need to go to the other houses they lived at, because we don't know that there aren't other children that just didn't make it.
Yep, those are great points. This story's got a couple chapters left. Mark Garagos, Jennifer Coffindoffer, happy birthday to you guys. Enjoy this weekend.
Happy birthday. Happy birthday. They're cancers? All right. So, yeah, I mean, that gets in real good with us speculating about the incest. And now we understand that the locked room was in the basement. We didn't know that before because we hadn't seen it. Now, you know what I want to do is I want to share my screen with you, because I know everyone's like, what the hell? Tell me about these children. How do you break that down? Well, let me come down here real quick. It's easier. Well, first, here's Bailey Lee and Faith Lee. These twins were conjoined, and there's the little placket that they were born and died November 20th of 2022. Guys, this is in between all of these guys. This is 16 kids that were found in the home. And just a quick overview of this. We talked about ages and everything yesterday. All the way the kids that are found in the home, age one, that's one set of twins. Age two, that's a second set of twins. Age 4 and age 4, that's a third set of twins. Then you got the fourth set of twins, which were conjoined and they died. Then you've got age 5, 6, 8, 10, 11, 13, 14, 15, 16, and 18. Those are all of Elizabeth Siders' children. All right. So make that make sense, that there's not either incest going on or multiple fathers involved. I just don't know. I don't know how one person can give that many babies and have 4 sets of twins. Are you kidding me? 4 sets of twins. That the conjoined twins were in between all of those other ones, guys. All right, let's continue. All right, so let's go back to this because I want to give you guys an overview if anyone just walked in. All right, here's the latest updates, guys. 4 suspects in the Ohio House of Horrors, based strictly on verified reporting from July 6th to the 7th. All 4 defendants are all being charged with the same. We have Gary Siders, Sr., 73, Christina Siders, 67. Those are the mom and dad of Gary Siders Jr., who's 36, and Elizabeth Siders is allegedly the mom of all of those. They were back in court today. Elizabeth wants to move forward with the trial. They all waived their preliminary hearing, and they were arraigned on June 1st. All pleaded not guilty. Again, back in court today, trying to get their bonds lowered. All right, now sources do not explicitly state that all 4 physically appeared in court, but we saw them online. All right, they all were scheduled to appear. Grandpa allegedly has dementia, or he's too sick to be able to be in jail or prison, what have you. All right, so then the twins that just found out, digging in the past, the conjoined twins were 24 weeks and extremely premature. All right, they only lived about an hour and died of respiratory failure linked to extreme prematurity. Now, their deaths occurred November 20th, 2022, inside the Riverside Methodist Hospital in Columbus. So, guys, they weren't having babies. They weren't having babies at home. They were having babies somewhere. Why didn't anyone know? Now, these deaths are not part of any criminal charges. There's no allegations that anything that they did was wrong with the twins. All right, current status, all 16 counts of child endangerment for everyone across the board. All right, and then key details. There were 16 children ages 17 months all the way to 18 years. They were allegedly kept in a 12 by 12 room for years in deplorable conditions. 7 children required hospitalization, and at least 1 is in critical condition right now. Prosecutors emphasize that this is an intra-family case and there's no human trafficking. All right. Now, they all have court-appointed attorneys. They're pretty good attorneys. At least Elizabeth is anyway. Now, remaining questions: how long were the children confined? Who else knew about the conditions? Was Elizabeth a victim of coercion and indoctrination? Will there be additional charges filed if someone dies or gets more sick? What is long-term medical condition of the rescued children? All right, we got a lot to get into, but this is not today. This is as this opens up. Married at 15, was she manipulated or indoctrinated? All right, he portrays her as a devoted mother, and she portrays herself as only concerned for the children. All right, so if she is a victim, then she'll argue that she's not a willing participant, lacked autonomy, and was herself a victim. That's her defense. Now, Gary Siders' defense, we actually haven't heard that yet. We haven't heard any of that other than the lacked resources and he did not intend harm. But we're going to hear about Elizabeth's specifically, what do you call that? What her defense is today. And then, of course, we're going to talk about the community, what they plan to do. So let's start with Siders' relative speaks out, and he's getting death threats, my friends, just by being related to these people. People are giving death threats. Check it out.
Information in the case where 16 children were rescued from a house in Vinton County, Ohio, described as not fit for livestock. 13 News is digging deep into this case. We uncovered information and confirmed through official documents. There was even another set of twins born into the Siders family, but they died the same day they were born. Today, 13 News anchor Amanda Barron sat down with an in-law of the Siders family. He tells us because of what's going on, his family is now receiving death threats. We have team coverage for you tonight happening now. Community members will gather in MacArthur to pray for the children rescued from that home. That's where we find Amanda Barron now. And Amanda, the community is truly heartbroken.
All right. The community and, well, the relatives. I don't know why nobody knew. Some of them say they did know. Others say they didn't. Now there's death threats. Guys, come on in, hit the like button, drop a comment. I'm about to gift a membership. And the way you could win a membership, guys, is by being active in the channel. So make sure you hit the like button and drop a comment down there so I can gift a membership and you could win it. All right, let's go. Members only. Remember, members only Mondays, guys. All right, let's continue. I don't think we've, I'm gonna break the seal of those memberships.
About this situation.
And at this point, Jackson, they say all they can do is pray for those children as they wait and wonder how things will turn out for them. You know, but tonight they can do in the meantime while they wait to hear their condition and just wonder how they're doing after being removed from a situation that investigators have called deplorable. They say that home in Hamden Township was not fit for livestock and certainly not fit for young children who they described as feral. I had a chance to talk with Ronnie Fletcher today. He married into the Siders family, and he said 2 decades ago it was just your typical American family. He married one of the 3 sisters and says that the girls had a normal upbringing, and he's heartbroken to see what's happening now. He also says as a result of all of this, his family is facing violent death threats.
I mean, that was a typical American family. You know what I mean? Yeah, getting by. You know, they didn't have tons of money or nothing like that, but you know, they always had a clean home. You know what I mean? The kids always went to school. I mean, you know what I mean? Like they had beautiful daughters. I mean, you know what I mean? Like I don't know what else to say about it. You know what I mean? Like and the stuff that's saying that this has been going on for all these years, and you know what I mean? It's crazy.
Know what I mean?
He said if they would have realized or knew how dire the situation was, they certainly would have helped. He said,
you know what I mean? Know what I mean? Know what I mean, Vern?
Because they were kept at an arm's length, and for about 7 years, they didn't know exactly where the family was. He said anytime there was a phone call, it was usually a request for something. In one case, they gave him a car. In plenty of other cases, it was for money to pay a utility bill, and one of the sisters would step up and make sure it happened. He also told me that as far as those children go and taking them in, he's taken in other children from another branch of the family who needed a place to go, a safe place to go, and people to love them. And he said that would have never been a problem, but tonight, his deep concern is for the safety of his family and for the well-being, Jackson, of those children.
Amanda, thank you for that report tonight. We turn now to Sarah Davis, who is live outside of the Siders house in Vinton County with more on the previous ad.
So what you're saying, Foxy, is you don't know what he means. Okay, let's continue. Good to see you, Indy. Jill, you guys, let me know if you won a membership. If you did and you're out in the bushes, come say hi. All right, let's continue. Know what I mean? Nope, didn't understand a word. Okay, let's continue. All right.
Well, Jackson, we know the Omer Street location in Hamden is the last.
I'm going to show you guys pictures of this house after, guys. It's disgusting. Trigger warning, as you can see below. All right, Allie, I don't understand how they did not know. Well, that's the thing, Allie, is brother saying there's no effing way they didn't. How are they getting so much child support? How did one set of twins conjoined die in 2022 and they didn't know there were other children even around? So something's not mathing besides their creepy incest that I think, in my opinion, is going on. Cheers. Let's go.
Known location of the Siders family, but documents from the Ohio Vital Statistics show that the younger couple has at least moved 3 times in the last 18 years. In 2008, both Elizabeth Siders and Gary Lee Siders Jr. lived in Gallia County. According to records, Elizabeth and Gary lived in a trailer park off Bullville Pike. This is the same trailer park that the two were living in separately on the day they were married in March.
Now, do you guys remember that, what we just talked about? What they said? How do you avoid it? You move home to home. Right? That's exactly what they did. Yes, my friend. Shout out to FloJo for sending me the pictures that I couldn't have got without him. Thank you. All right. Lots of love to FloJo. Drop his link if you would. Pampa, I'm not sure. Pam. I'm a member sort of every time I see you. I listen. Lots of love and light. I'm dealing with cancer and I sure could use this membership. Well, listen, prayers to you. And keep coming back. We gift memberships all the time. All right? Much love to you and light, my friend. All right, let's continue. Thank you, FloJo. I'm going to show those pictures next.
2008. The couple was then recorded in Gallia County in the Cheshire area in 2022 and in 2024. The two lived off Honeysuckle Drive. And then in 2025, records show the couple lived in Hamden, but at a different address from where I am right now. And that house on North Main Street sits almost directly across the street from a Dollar General and is less than a mile from the house behind me, Jackson.
that report tonight as well. One of the suspects in this case, Gary Siders Jr., is also being charged with public indecency. Vinton County Court.
And again, I just call it pedo things. I have no idea what's going to come out of all the paperwork. So we'll see. But that led them, the public indecency charge led them to the house, which in turn led them to the search warrant. All right. Now, this is what county? Vinton. It's Vinton, I believe. It's Vinton County, Ohio. Indy, member for 14 months. Shout out to you, my friend. Cajun Rose. I'm sorry, but knew someone new. I can't believe nobody didn't see or hear something. Well, listen, you know what's ridiculous, Cajun? It is ridiculous. It's ridiculous when it happened with the Turpins, and it was ridiculous when it happened in was it Elizabeth Smart? I know it's Elizabeth something, but anyway, it's happened, and it's happening right now every minute that we speak. All right? So make that make sense. How old was the oldest daughter? They did not. I don't know. I have a list of them, but I don't know right now. Kelsey, 18. I know there was an 18-year-old, but I don't know if it was a male or a female right offhand. If Mama Pearl knows, get it, Mama Pearl.
Records say he's accused of exposing himself outside of his home to people other than those in his household on 4 different.
So you guys think he wasn't doing CSAM in the house? If he has 16 children, an 18-year-old girl, a 16-year-old girl, a 15-year-old girl, twins, do you think that he wasn't CSAMing them? Thank you, C. Smith 911, a female, 18-year-old female. What if they had kids? We don't know. What if those kids are his kids and also his grandkids, my guys? Disgusting. Golden Hen, why don't these people see something, say something, and do something? That's the problem, Golden Hen. They see something and sometimes they say something, but they don't do anything. It doesn't do anything. I can go walk out the front door and see something and say something, but if I do nothing and I just walk back in my house, well, guess what? Nothing happens. So I'm gonna speculate. Oh yeah, and lady, we talked about incest. The incest that I'm talking about is, what if his children are also his grandchildren? All right. How do we know that his 18-year-old didn't have the 18-month-old and the 16-year-old didn't have you know what I'm saying? So I hope you guys know what I'm saying, because the other guy, we didn't know what he was saying. All right. Inbred AF. Yes. Let's continue. I'm speculating. A lot of times I'm right. Just saying.
Days in May. Siders Jr. is scheduled to appear in court for those charges on Thursday, July 9th. 13 News is continuing to dig deeper into the Vinton County child endangerment case, coming up tonight in just about a couple of hours at 8 o'clock on WOWK+. We take a deeper dive into the case against the 4 Siders family members and a look at what's next in the investigation. Again, that's tonight at 8 o'clock on WOWK+.
Yeah, OWK. You struck me last time, damn it. I forgot to not play this part. Shoot. All right, well, whatever. Strike me again. It is what it is. Hit that like button, guys. Hype if you have the opportunity. Let's get in the algorithm. Community is offering support to these people. I'm going to break it down a little bit, but I also want to show you the picture. So let's pull this down. And again, thank you. Flojo. Let me share my screen with you. I'm so not used to sharing my entire screen like this, so bear with me. All right. Can you guys see this? Let me hop back here so I can see what you guys can see. Okay, you can. Thank you again, Flojo. And Amy, ding, ding, ding. If he was exposing himself outside of the house, do you not think he wasn't doing the same thing in the house? Yes. All right. And he's smug AF. That guy was just walking ejaculation thing at this point. He just walked around throwing his sperm everywhere. Freaking 20 kids allegedly. And we don't even know if this mother trucker wasn't the grandpa and the dad of the same children. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. All right, let's continue. Let's take a look inside the house a little bit further, because we didn't get to see that. The news showed us nothing. All right. I know it's disgusting, but guys, yeah, I like that hashtag smug shot. This guy's just throwing out sperm everywhere and seeing where it's gonna land, apparently. All right, where'd this go? All right, so that's a cute kitty. Poor cat. Gotta live in this Look at, I mean, it's just junk on the floor. What is that? I'm sure there's lots of DRUGs in the house. Now, guys, although this is a bit triggering, it's also disgusting. And also it could be something that triggers you because I don't know, just if this triggers you, step out and then come back. Okay. Because I mean, I don't know what this even is. It's dirt, it's filth, it's crust, it's clothes. Are these his rags that he was jizzing off in? And he just rolled them up and threw them up there and then cut a line up here. I mean, I don't know what was going on. Were those children really playing with those nasty, dirty toys down there? I mean, come on. They're not fit for jail. What about the kids? Yep. Hills have eyes. You got that right. You're right. If cats could talk, they would tell. Are those underwear? I mean, it does look like a dead animal. I got laughing. That's good. All right, let's continue. It's all dusty, crusty, musty. The hell? All right, let's keep going. Thank you again, Flojo. I mean, this is what the house looked like. It was just packed. There's no room for anything for them to move. Feces, bugs. And it's hard to tell in this layout of the house. It looks so much smaller, but apparently the 12 by 12 was below this. It was in the basement. So I am wondering what they're going to find out there. They're going to find any kind of other remains. Would one of the children get knocked up with the dad at the same time? So a child's a grandchild and they didn't want people to know. Ooh, I need some rice. There we go. I need some rice right next to my raid. That's what I need. Raid and rice. And then there's a bike there that you can't get to. I mean, this is just filth, guys. The Hills Have Eyes had more integrity than this. All right. So there's a top view of the house and all the junk above it. I mean, I don't know what other people, why they didn't do or say something. All right. Ash Mengy, you're laughing so hard. That's right. I hope to keep you guys coming back. If you like the way I present true crime, hit the like button for me. All right. She said, girl, you're in the house. Well, thank you. All right. Let's take a look one quick back through here, and then we're going to go back to what I was talking about. All right. I'm just going to run back through these and pull them down. How come I can't get backwards, Flojo? It's your fault. Okay. It's not your fault anymore. Just kidding. But if you guys need some raid and then rice, let me know. This guy might have some for you. All right. Filth. I mean, this is going to be, I'm sure after they tear this house, they rip the insides out. They're probably going to, I can't imagine this not being condemned. They do have a nice roof, though. They have a better roof than I did. All right. I don't know what any of that stuff is. It's deplorable filth. And I showed you guys this last week. This is the public indecency charge for Mr. Gary Siders Jr. #smugshot. That is what took them over to the house. Now, on or about May 23rd, which was 2 months ago, this jackoff was literally outside showing his something. The complaint was that he was in Vinton County, Ohio on May 23rd. Unlawfully, he recklessly exposed his private parts under circumstances in which his conduct was likely to be viewed by an affront others who are Gary Siders' physical proximity and who are not members of his household. So he was showing his dioc off to the people that were in the view in front of him. All right. Public indecency, M4, count 2. Complaint. He had another complaint on May 27th. So complaining again 4 days later, he recklessly exposed his little private parts out there. And then he probably took his rag and wiped it off. All right. So there you go. That's what brought them. June 30th, they took a warrant. They went to the house and they realized that something big was going on there. They came back with another warrant, and there we are now. Okay, so 2 indecency charges 4 days apart, and now they're all just screwed. Right? This only had $5,000 bond, but once they got him for that, they now have him in what, $500,000 bond? Much different. All right, let's continue. There's the people again, in case you guys need to see who and what is. All right, who and what. He's gonna love jail when he can expose his parts as much as he wants, right? Dioc. Take that, Dioc. And I can't say the other word, so it's much better. All right, Melissa, welcome. You guys, welcome Melissa Stewart to the Crime Crew Official. Please give her a warm welcome. Welcome, and thank you for being here. It's absolutely ridiculous, but it's real. All right, listen to the community outreach just because, Cuff, I want you to feel good about it. I want you to realize that the community is trying to fix it. The community is also the county and the lawmakers, guys. I want you to understand they're trying to change laws so that this doesn't happen again. Now, that's not in this segment. It might say that, but this is the community offering support to the child abuse victims. Okay, so I want you to have comfort. The children are taken away from these people. They're in hospitals, the ones that need to. Some are rehomed, etc., etc. They are safe right now.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us for NBC4 at 11. They say they are shaken up by the child abuse case there, but as much as they're shocked, they're determined to help the children involved and try to prevent something like this from happening again. NBC4's Isabel Cleary was at a community support vigil tonight, and she shares some of the...
I should have put that as my backdrop. Look at that. I was trying to boost it, be a cute little background like graffiti. But this lady, she won for the day. She put a picture of the house out there. All right, Golden Hen, much love to you, girl. And happy July. That's all I got to say. Happy July. Are we lighting up like judging unrelated people in this? Hell no, we're not. Who's judging people? What? Are we lighting up on judging unrelated? I don't know what you're talking about, Giga. L Pro, but nobody's lighting up judging unrelated people. Not me, but laws are changing. I'll tell you that right now. They know there was a major failure on their part. Yeah, that's why they called it. So people are getting offended, guys. I can't even believe people are getting offended by the prosecutor saying this is like a third world country. What he meant, what he should have said was the kids had no access to a sink, a toilet, real running water, food. That's what he was saying. All right. So when you get offended easily by somebody saying a third world country, that's what he was saying. People got so mad. People were so mad. Yeah. Running water, trash, electricity. I don't understand that. Yes, that too. Thank you for bringing that up. The parents were feeding the kids vegetable oil and then letting them poo all over the house in a 12 by 12. That's what they were buying at freaking dollar store was vegetable oil and a couple other things. All right, well, there should be no problem in this chat because we all respect each other and everyone else. So thank you. Yeah. Bob said what he meant was like India. Oh no, don't say that. Oh, we're getting to the defense. Don't worry. We're getting to the defense. There are. All right, let's continue. Community support.
Ideas in the works.
Those I spoke with say this case is not an example of the Vinton County community. They wanted to hold a space to allow people to come together to support each other and the Siders' children.
Our goal is to just make people feel like they're not alone, to let people know that there's people that care, and to maybe just help process.
This church was a space for people to talk with behavioral health professionals.
Now, I want you to understand that the community is coming together, and they're very disappointed that the people that are in power, that were sending out the welfare checks and whatever they get, whatever financial aid that they get, they missed this, guys. They missed it, or they wouldn't be changing laws so quickly. I'm telling you. All right. I'm telling you, and I'm sure too. But guys, I really want all of you to stay here. I think after this one, I'm going to get into the law and crime episode where we go into court, because I really want you to see the stark difference. Fabio MGM, Elizabeth's brother, said the kid had all the kids, guys, had social media. They even wrote posts. The older kids were on Facebook, Instagram. All right. The defense is a stark difference, and it sounds so compelling. I'm sure. And the little girl, I mean, at one point, this girl is a victim. Elizabeth should not have been married off to Gary at 15 years old. She should have never been screwing him at 13 years old when he lived 2 doors down. Okay, that should have never happened. And then they shouldn't have continued to let any of that indoctrination that they're talking about. But I think it was fear that made the children not want to talk to law enforcement, not to say a word, because they thought that they were feral children that couldn't speak, read, or write their own name. All right. Cuffy says, I'm not sure what I said about the community, but I'm glad you're addressing it. I'm so glad the kids are fed and clean for the first time in a long time and have beds for rest. Well, thank you, Cuffy. You wanted to make sure that the children were taken care of and if the community was doing anything about it. So I wanted to make sure I brought that up before we move on. So thank you for bringing that up. I look in chat and I might not answer you back at one at a time, but I try to answer you back in a general way when I can. So thank you. And Jenna Bug, member for 15 months, prayers for the kids and justice for the monsters. Guys, I mean, the defense is kind of scary, to be honest with you, because the lawyer for Elizabeth is very compelling. I hate to say it.
Each other and take a moment for prayer.
And it's a time of evil, but we need to combat that, right, in the world today.
Pastor James Dimmel says people's attention should be on helping the children, not on getting clicks online.
We're getting all of this AI craziness and stuff that's not even real or true. And even people
see, there it is. And that happened to me in episode 1, guys. I tried to show you a picture of something and an AI generated BS came up and showed other kids from other things. Freaking Foxy, Golden Hen, poor children. And the saddest part of all these horrific cases, how do we help them and support them? Stop this from happening. Okay, so this guy, let's finish listening to this only because it just says so much within just like 3 minutes. And people are starting to catch on. I really do hope people stop or start getting kicked off of social media platforms with AI bullshit, because it doesn't help anybody.
in our community are putting stuff out and saying things that aren't even real or true. I think they need to wait on what's going on, see what's real and what's true. And the biggest thing is we need to shelter these kids.
South Central Ohio Job and Family Services is working with attorneys to establish a trust to make sure any monetary donations for the Siders children end up going to them.
It's just a beautiful community where people come together and they meet needs. And it's just so sad that this happened here.
The 4 suspects in this case, Gary Siders Jr., Elizabeth Siders, Gary Siders Sr., and Christina Siders, will have their first court hearing tomorrow.
Isabel, thank you. NBC4.
Now, that was today. All right. Tomorrow was today. That happened, and I caught you up at the very beginning.
We'll have a team in Vinton County to cover those hearings. Again, this investigation is ongoing.
Yeah, I didn't want to sit there with that fake content of child abuse circulating. So be careful with that too, because there is fake content and there are people creating GoFundMes and collecting it and then shutting it down. Okay. Don't donate to those. Make sure they're valid.
We'll be working to use every available resource to find out how the children ended up in this situation. He adds that the fake content circulating right now on social media and people trying to get clicks from this case will distract from justice.
In Ohio, the sunshine laws are really strong and robust because the public has a right to know what the government is doing. However, there are very specific limitations to that when it comes to minors, when it comes to somebody who is a victim. There's also in Ohio strong victim rights laws. So much of this material may never come out.
Ohio also has Marcy's Law that allows law enforcement to not release the names of victims. We are hearing from the Siders' son-in-law, Ronnie Fletcher. His wife is the older sister of Gary Siders Jr.
So I want you guys to try to pay attention, and I will try to create a chart on the next one and the connections. Now, Kalisa, I'm so glad you're here. I'm so glad, because there is a side to this that's the opposite side. And Kalisa says mom was physically and mentally abused, kept pregnant just weeks after each baby. Then having twins, her body was destroyed. Okay, I'm going to read that and leave it there for when we get to that part. of her defense.
He says he hasn't known exactly where the family was living for 7 years. His name is Fletcher. He says the Siders would occasionally call to ask for help with bills. He says he would help if he could. And had he known details of their situation, he says he would have tried to help more.
All right, my wife would take the last $5 out of her pocket and buy somebody a meal, and chance running out of gas to get home. If we didn't know this was that way, we would have helped. If we would have known that it was like that in that home, we would have done something about it. Even if it was to just go there and take the kids ourselves, or, you know what I mean, give more money.
And Ronnie Fletcher says he and his family have received threats since the investigation came to light last week. He is asking for people to leave his children out of this, and again saying his family did not know about the conditions inside that house. We do have a special report.
Yeah, blah, blah, blah. All right, let's get off of this. All right, I really do. There are two sides, and a big part of this is what else was found in this Ohio house of horrors. One mom, 16 kids rescued, 2 more conjoined twins, and they waive their rights to any kind of hearing. They just want to move forward with this. All right. I know cooking oil can be used for kerosene, but they had no electricity. Well, there are other things too, and it's all going to come out, right? You just heard what they said. You heard what the guy on the news said. He said, don't take everything to, don't take everything that you hear to heart, because we don't have all the information. Number one. Number two, there's no way that we're going to have all the information because there's minors involved. Okay. 16 kids rescued, age 18 years to 18 months. Boys, both boys and girls, 7 were taken to the hospital. 2 were airlifted. All right. Let's continue. Oil for lice, maybe. Yeah. Bye, Steve. See you later. Hashtag Steve sucks. All right, let's continue. I don't even need Steves today. I don't need any Steves to play with. I'm good all on my own today. All right, this is a good one. This we need to, they say shocking new details, but please stay here for this. This is going to be both sides of it, which I tried to present at the very beginning when I read the article about Elizabeth and people questioning not only her sanity, but is she a victim? Was she indoctrinated? Did they force her or coerce her to make her stay there? What is she going to say? What is her lawyer going to say? All right, let's continue.
It looked like almost feral animals. It was terrible.
16 children, a filthy house, and a secret investigation. We're learning more about the Siders family in Ohio, the children who were found in the home, and what family members of the mother of the children are saying after the arrest. Plus, the attorney for one of the family members is here.
We don't have all of the evidence. We don't have anything that's showing these.
This is the defense, my friends. And the major component in this case is what they think the major component is to get Elizabeth out and get her children back. But guys, I know I just got smashed for that yesterday, Flojo. Don't worry. I know how to take care of them. That news station particularly flagged me for copywriting and I had to cut it out. So I got you. I know how to do it. I just edited afterwards. No worries, my friend. I got you. All right. That's what I'm saying. Kalisa, so she's been pregnant since 13, but we don't know if all those we don't know that those are all her children, because her children may have been having children with the father. So until we know more, we can't even give the full story. That is Elizabeth's attorney. Yes. Let's continue. This is the defense for Elizabeth. Each person has their own attorney.
Kids were locked in a basement or anything of that nature. This is not what people are trying to portray.
Yeah, Law and Crime is really good, but that news station has been haunting me.
Gary Siders Sr. and Christina Siders are facing the same charges. The state's attorney general, the Vinton County prosecutor, and the sheriff described the conditions in the home as filthy, with feces and bugs in the 12 by 12 room where they say these children were kept.
Some of these children couldn't even speak. Yeah. So, I mean, we're talking, this is very, it was terrible. I mean, it looked like almost feral animals. It was terrible. So when we're talking reading and writing and education, we're talking a whole nother level of expectations here.
The children range in age from 1.5 to 18. 2 were taken to level 1 trauma centers. The others were treated and released from a number of hospitals and then placed in foster homes. The home on Omer Street is roped off by crime scene tape to keep people out. The sheriff isn't commenting on what crime law enforcement was investigating when they went to the home on June 30th to execute that search warrant, and the documents related to it are sealed. It's only been referred to as a parallel investigation. But there are a lot of questions about how a family of 4 could keep children.
Well, here's the thing, Melanie. That's not totally true, because we just heard from relatives and we read posts that they were getting some kind of government funding, and the brother is attesting to the fact that they knew. Okay, hashtag they knew. So flying under the radar didn't mean that they were flying under the radar without getting help, because they also had conjoined twins in between all of that, and they went to some other hospital, buried the baby, and continued having children. So I'm going to just wait until the paperwork comes out. But as far as the family says, the family's saying that, well, we'll get to that. We'll get to the who's attorney. If that is, then we'll get to that. All right. I know on this episode they do show her, so let's continue. I'm not going to correct myself.
Hidden away from the world. And why? The sheriff says there were 16 children in that house. Records from Mason County, West Virginia, show that Gary Jr. and Elizabeth Russell were married on March 31st, 2008. Court documents show the couple had a child a short time later on May 30th, 2008. Now, you might be wondering, why would Elizabeth and Gary Jr. go to West Virginia to get married? Well, in Ohio, you have to be 18 to get married. You can be 17, but you have to.
So this is the backstory, and then we're getting to court. All right. Now, yes, they were conjoined twins, exactly like Siamese twins. They're connected, but their conjoined twins were particularly connected at the right in the middle, like the the picture you see on the front, the chest. Yes, I couldn't get that word out. I'm trying to read comments too, but it makes me laugh how many freaking Steves are here. Wow, Steves and Brads. My goodness. Yeah, connected at the chest. The picture that I showed you in the front was the picture of what the conjoined twins were. Yes, the conjoined twins, they've passed away in 2022. That's them. Bailey Lee Siders and Faith Lee Siders, born premature in 2022. Thoracopagus conjoined twins is the actual term, and that means twins joined at the chest. Now, they passed away shortly after birth. They were only 24 weeks old. All right. I wonder if Gary was. That's what I'm saying. There's the family saying that's not true, that the government didn't know. They were born alive only for an hour, and then they passed away. That's their November 20th, 2022. They were born and they died on that date. All right. Let's continue. There's so many Steves today. Wow. I might have some fun.
To have parental consent and then meet a bunch of other strict guidelines, jump through a lot of hoops. Elizabeth Siders was 15 when she married Gary Siders Jr. Court records show that Elizabeth Siders was pregnant nearly every year from 2008 through 2025. She had children in 2008, 2009, 2011, 2012, 2013, 2014.
Okay, so this helps, guys. This is what we did in the first episode. But like I said, thank you, guys. I appreciate you, even for you idiots that are talking shit here. Jay farted to outer space. Think of something more clever than that. Come on, Steve. Now, listen, I really want all of you to stay here so we can get through this, because it does the backstory. And then we get to see the court and the defense. So some of these comments are off the chain. It's pretty funny, but you could do better. That's 4 sets of twins, Barbara Allen. 4 sets of twins. And that's why I ask you, how much incest was involved in this case? Kayla, I know. We don't know that she was the mother, though, to everyone. They're DNA testing right now. You edits, my stomach hurts.
2016.
All right, so if you guys have questions, I would say now's the time, because look, that's 11 and 12. Guys, I don't even, okay, I'm gonna say it myself without her. So did they didn't account for those, or did they? So 1 set of twins, 15 and 16 on 2025, 2 sets of twins, 2024, 3 sets. So they don't even have the conjoined twins in here. We got to add another one in 2022. What the hell? See, that doesn't make sense, guys. That doesn't make sense. She had 3 sets of twins and they're not including them. See, this is where there's a problem. This is where the math can absolutely not math. Child 1, 2008, child 2, 2009. If you were to break down each of the months, it was barely cutting it. And they're missing a set of twins in there. All right. The ones that passed away are not included on here. Damn, dude. That's crazy.
Children born to the couple in that time that were stillborn. I'm still working to actually confirm that information. Law enforcement said the Siders moved from county to county and even spent time in Wisconsin. And I've learned that Children's Services may have visited the family in one Ohio county, but then the Siders moved, I'm told, to keep the children from being taken away from them. The Siders, according to the sheriff, have lived in the house on Omer Street in Vinton County for the last 4 years. Elizabeth Siders doesn't appear to have social media accounts, but Gary Jr. does. On June 5th, 2014, Gary...
See, guys, we skipped over the social media. Not that Tiff didn't give me that, but Tiff gave me all social medias, and boy, did they freaking... I'm like, how do all these people have social media that are locked away? What? Grandma's going on 107 and grandpa's going on 137. They're all zombies. Just kidding. I don't know. The grandma, the ages I don't think are up here anymore, but the grandma's like, I don't know. They're in their 70s. They're not even in their like 80s or 90s or 100s. They look like they're 200 years old, but yeah, I don't know. This case is a shit show. Well, once we figure it out, it won't be. Are you staying away from it? Is that what you're saying? All right.
Gary Siders posted on Facebook, "This is Elizabeth. I don't want anyone putting pictures of me on Facebook, everyone. If you have any pictures of me on here, please take them off of here." Elizabeth's mother wanted to have contact with her daughter. She even wished her a happy birthday in 2020. Elizabeth's mom wrote, "Happy birthday to my daughter, Elizabeth. It's hard to believe my youngest is 28 today. Love you, Mom and Dad." The photo she posted of Elizabeth shows her with much lighter hair, and she looks healthier. We don't know the date that photo was taken. Another family member posted these photos of Elizabeth, claiming she took them when Elizabeth was 13. That was the last time that family member said that she actually saw Elizabeth. Now, this raises a lot of questions. How was a 15-year-old girl able to run off with a guy who's 3 years older than she is and get married?
I love this episode. So much backstory. Guys, there's not a lot out there except for a lot of junk. We're going to debunk the junk as we do, speculate a bit, and then when all the paperwork comes in, we're going to cipher through that. Definitely been messing around, but do me a favor, mods, please drop Mab's link. He needs to hit 5,000 like yesterday. All right, go sub up to Mab. He's a good guy. His content is ever growing, and we love him and Mrs. Mab.
And why? Elizabeth's brother, Jeremy, posted on Facebook on June 30th, "My sister just wrapped her life up due to indoctrination. It is 100% real. 20 kids and younger than me. The math equals immature piece of you-know-what man involved. I met this dude a couple of months ago, shook my hand like a baby would, super soft hands, definitely never worked a day in his life. I should have took him out that night. I was thinking about it, but my sister, I was happy to see. Been 15 years. You lost touch with your family, followed another. Look what happened." Now, I reached out to Jeremy Russell, but at the time of this recording, I haven't heard back from him. On Sunday, Jeremy Russell then wrote, "Got a lot of Facebook investigators. LOL. You're in for a ride. I've been telling you all. My remorse, I don't care. I really don't."
Okay, so here it is, guys. Let's pay attention to this. I read it earlier, but everybody was not in chat. All right. At that time, there was only like 500 people. Jeremy Russell is her brother, saying that she was indoctrinated and he hadn't seen her for 15 years. And why didn't the law step in? Because welfare was supporting them, according to the brother, and they didn't do shit about it. They also were in hospitals several times having children. All right. So let's continue. That's what she started having babies at 13, but not with her husband. She had kids before him even. So that's crazy. It'll all come out. That's what he's talking about. Her brother here.
"That's sad. I tried many times. Ask my ex. She knows. I was the one harassing. I love my sister. However, everyone knew about it. I told everyone. Welfare supporters to the maximum. So state knows something. I don't get it. Just leave me alone. So Elizabeth's brother claims that everyone knew about the children. To what extent they knew about them and the conditions they were living in isn't clear. But he's also implying that the state, or at least Children's Services, which is called Job and Family Services, knew something about the children.
Did you have the opportunity to read that complaint?
All 4 Siders.
Well, that means they know how to read. So, okay, I ask you though, when did Elizabeth Siders go from victim to perpetrator? There had to be a point. If you guys believe, anyone believes that she's a victim, there was a point where she's crossed that line. Now, thank you, Flojo, for sending me that, because there's another picture before and after. Look at this shit, guys. This is her. Elizabeth Siders. This is her. I don't know how old she was there, but it looks like she was, in years prior, not many years prior. She's only 33. She went from that to that, right? From that to that, that to that. All right. So did she just become a captive and say, we're giving everyone the benefit of the doubt, Athena? I'm surprised to see you in here. We're actually talking about Elizabeth being a potential victim. When did she go from being a victim to not being? I'm wondering at what age, because when you look at this and you look at this and you look at this and this, there's something happened. Either, she was pregnant too many times and no vitamins, or they started doing D-rugs. But you're a harsh critic, Athena. I'm surprised you're telling me not to be. Interesting. I see my critiques all the time, but yeah, when did she go from that to what she is now? And is she a victim? That's part of today's entire episode, my friends. But it's interesting. Are all the mods in here? Foxy, Foxy, are you here? Where are my mods in mod chat?
Face second-degree felony child endangering charges, including the grandparents, Gary Siders Sr. and Christina Siders. They've pleaded not guilty to the charges. When the arrests were made last week, law enforcement said the children hadn't been to school and couldn't read or write. The oldest couldn't spell her name. But one of Elizabeth Siders' brothers is disputing that his oldest nieces are illiterate, even posting screenshots.
Do you have documentation, Athena, that she's a victim? Because we don't have anything right now. So what you're saying is that law enforcement got it wrong. They rescued all of the children and all 4 are being charged. Yes, she has a defense, but where do I see? Do you have paperwork that says she's a victim? Because she was a victim at 13 years old and then 15 when she got married off and started having children. But how can you say that she's obviously a victim? We don't have the paperwork yet. Foxy, are you paying attention here? Man, Synth, I know you're here. I wish Tiff was here. Tiff, where are you at? All right, so Lou, let's continue. Yeah, we're not going to make bold statements either way about it. I'm not going to say that she was the victim or not. She was a victim when she was 13, 15, and then we don't know when it crossed the line again. All right? And Synth, you know who you're talking to already. Synth, when you're talking, you know who you're talking to. So whatever you say can and will be used against you in the court of law. And you know what, Sal C and everybody else, I absolutely hope that you're right, Ali. I hope that they prove that she was a victim, because she was a victim at 13, 15. And then did you see her mental decline? Absolutely. All right. I know I'm getting mad because I want you guys. Yes. What do you mean? I'm going to text you. You guys. All right, let's continue.
Screen grabs from social media accounts attributed to them. Joey Russell posted on Facebook, "I thought my nieces couldn't read or write. These are messages between her and her ex-boyfriend. He says they had to break up because of her neighbor, Mike. He sent proof of everything. The lies need to stop. The speculation needs to stop. Clearly the neighbors knew. Clearly she could read, write, and speak. We just want the damn truth. Praying day and night for my nieces and nephews." Now, how the teenage girls were able to post on social media isn't clear. Did they have phones, an iPad, a laptop? We don't know. Then another family member posted on Facebook on the 4th of July.
And this is as far back as we can go right now, Melanie. I assure you that I am. Okay, so listen, we're going back and forth, Athena. I cannot I do not have documentation that shows that she is a victim. She's being charged in a criminal case. All right. So we're going to leave it at that. If you have proof that you want to email me, that's our discussion right now. You can't just look at her and say she's a victim. Well, what about grandma and grandpa that are 175 years old? Yeah, fact, if you're going to say it, then you got to tell me why and you got to show me where. That's the whole discussion today. Otherwise, there is no discussion. Oh, yeah. These people.
Well, part of me wonders if she, meaning Elizabeth, wasn't mentally conditioned to think this was okay. The mom in me knows it doesn't matter because there's absolutely no excuse for dragging your kids or any human through your BS to this degree. In my opinion, she's guilty to an extent simply because she is an adult. Right. The justice system will handle the situation however it sees fit. I'm cool with that. But I feel like this also needs to be said. Lots of people failed those babies, and they continue to fail lots of others all over and keep the pattern continuing by not.
And guys, that's right. I mean, people are talking about it's generational and the family saying that's not true. So I want to hear, and that's why I say, please stay here because we are getting into the defense, and particularly we're getting into Elizabeth's defense. All right. So there's that. We'll speak to text. You don't need to know how to write, just a thought. All right, people, let Jay speak. Thank you. It's not even people. It's just one particular person.
Intervening when things aren't quite right. Kind of like see something, say something, or even, see something, do something. People all over the USA right now keep saying, oh my God, how did this even happen? Most people can't fathom, and I really wish I couldn't either. But here's my idea. Generational poverty, deeply embedded trauma, mental illness, and systemic failure by other family and community members all mixed into one big horrible mess. While the parents and grandparents of the children are in jail facing serious felony charges, Gary Siders Jr. also faces 4 misdemeanor counts of public indecency. Court records state that Gary Siders Jr. did recklessly expose his private parts under circumstances in which his conduct was likely to be viewed.
Guys, when the DNA comes back and we actually get to see how many, I'm glad you rolled in, Tiff, because I was willing you to come here. All right. Grandma and grandpa were part of the grooming. I agree 110%. And that's why I'm like, whoa, they did that. They went and signed off on her to get married at 15. She started having sex with him allegedly at 13. That alone. Yeah, I don't need anyone in here that's that I don't like now and I didn't like before. No, thank you. Please don't come again. You're not welcome in my chat.
By an affront of others who are in Gary Siders' physical proximity and who are not members of his household. Now, these alleged incidents happened 4 times between May 23rd and May 31st, according to court documents. Gary Jr. has pleaded not guilty to those charges and the child endangering charges.
Yeah, exactly.
How do you plead? Yes, I will enter a not guilty.
Now, you remember the brother said this guy he shook his hand and it was like a baby's hand. He had the weakest shake and he never worked a day in his life. How come this guy right here, the dad of allegedly 20 children, doesn't have gray hair, doesn't have wrinkles, doesn't look all washed out like the woman that he keeps getting pregnant? And guys, I got to tell you, they might let grandpa off of this. And I'm not saying that's right or wrong. I think it's going to depend on the DNA and what comes back with the DNA. Okay. If the grandpa was knocking up the grandchildren, then he's going to be kept. I think if they can place him outside of it and his mental stability, they can just kick him out because grandpa is barely even alive. Just saying. All right. She was married at 15. We just saw that, silly. I just showed you all that. We did all that. So go back, no shoot vaccine. It says that in the documentation, my friend.
For you at this time then, and you can confer with counsel. Okay? Mr. Siders, would you like me to enter a not guilty plea for you as well?
Yep.
Until you have the chance to speak with an attorney? I will do that.
He doesn't even really understand is what they're saying. Diminished capacity. Thank you. Right. This guy, he says, yes, ma'am, I want not guilty. All right. This guy's he's a weak human being. And he's the one that was out there exposing his diak to the public. All right. And who knows what he did to his own children? We don't know if his children are having children with him.
So let's turn now to Dorian Baum. He is an attorney representing Gary Siders Sr. That is the grandfather in this family. Dorian, thanks so much for coming on. You haven't met with your client yet. Tell me a little bit about why, and have you even been able to speak with Gary Siders Sr. on the phone?
Yeah, thanks. Again, thanks for having me. So unfortunately, because of the holiday weekend, the jail was actually not permitting people to come in and visit with inmates. That includes attorneys. So the first opportunity, and that actually includes today as well. So unfortunately, the first opportunity we'll have to meet with Mr. Siders will be tomorrow. So my intent is to get down there and see him as soon as possible tomorrow.
Your client, along with his family members, is facing, 16 felony counts.
No, sweetheart, only because I like, shoot vaccine. The marriage was 15 years old. There's a whole backstory to this, okay? Literally at the beginning of this episode, I not only read it, but we talked about it. She was 13 years old when she met Gary Siders Jr. She lived 2 doors down from him. They started having sex. Then at 15, the parents, the freaking zombie family, took Gary and Elizabeth across state lines and signed a document that allowed them to be married. He was 18, she was 15. Now you're not in the Twilight Zone, all right? I won't speak that confidently about something that I don't know. I'll say, I don't know. But yes, she was married at 15. They did sign off on it. That is grooming, in my freaking opinion.
Degree felonies of child endangering. It's been described as a really awful place where these children were being kept, a 12 by 12 room. The sheriff, I believe, said there were feces all around. There were flies on the kids. The sheriff said livestock are kept better than these children. What is your response to that?
Well, I would say there's multiple responses. The first one, I do want to clarify for anyone who might be seeing this. They're currently facing a complaint with 16 charges, which is actually an amended complaint from an original complaint that was 17.
Okay, so the whole point of my episode today and right now, we're talking about the defense. Elizabeth Siders is claiming to be a victim. I never said she wasn't one. I say, when did she become a victim to not being a victim? Do you want to know why I said when did she become a victim to not? Because she was a victim at 13 years old when she started having sex with Gary. She was a victim at 8 or 15 when they married. She was a victim for years after, before she was 18. And then she's now arrested with the entire family and the same charges. So at what point did she go from a victim to this? All right.
Charges. And that complaint, in the state of Ohio, you have the right to a grand jury proceeding whereby you have to present facts to a grand jury, and a grand jury will return an indictment if they think there's probable cause. So at this point, they're facing criminal charges in a complaint, but that is not what the state can proceed forward on if they were to go to trial. So first and foremost, the state still already has that extra hurdle to get over. Now, naturally, getting past the grand jury hurdle is not always that difficult, but it's not unusual for a complaint to show a certain number of charges or degree of charges. And then once they get to the grand jury, it becomes something vastly different. So we'll have to see what happens when they get to grand jury. That's the first thing. The second one is,
and that's a really low bar. It's probable cause.
Absolutely.
Is the bar at a grand jury.
It's a low bar, but to say that I haven't seen no bills or that you see charges at the complaint stage as felonious assault, for instance, then by the time you get to a grand jury, maybe it's only aggravated assault, which is too.
So he wants to sway the public view, my friends, and welcome QTC. Absolutely, there's loopholes, and they did it. All right, they did it. They did the loophole of the live. Is she accepting the panel guests? I'm not doing panel guests, but I'd love to hear from you, September Angel. If you want to email me, guiltyofcrimebyj@gmail.com, please do. All right, that's where the court should have stepped in. Exactly, my friend, exactly. I'm glad they're stepping in now, but, day late, $1 short. Now, look, the defense is absolutely putting on a PR campaign, and rightfully so. Defense gets defense always gets, the defendant seems to have better defense than you do when you are victims. Don't get as much protection as a defendant. So at what point did she go from being a victim of grooming and rape and underage marriage to being arrested and charged the same as everyone else is. Okay? Let's continue.
Full degrees less. So it is, you're right, it is a low bar, but to say it's not a bar at all would not be correct. So that's the first thing. Second thing is the state has provided what can only be described as a modicum of the evidence. We have gotten so little from the state at this point. As has been reported, we've already filed for discovery. We're asking for the state to provide it to us. I've had some minimal communications with the state, but from what I've seen, to be perfectly blunt,
so we want the defense, we want them to get a fair trial, especially the mother. If the mother wasn't doing anything wrong, okay, if Elizabeth didn't do anything wrong, and we see what happened, we see her being groomed and prepped and whatever, when she gets her day in court, which is going to be soon because she waived her preliminary hearing and she requested a jury trial. Let's go. And her defense is saying okay, now this is a good answer. This is a fantastic answer. When mom became a perp depends on her competency evaluation and psychological evaluations. Ability to parent, results, they probably won't do that. Well, if her attorney is good, he will bring that up from her being groomed at 13. But that's a beautiful answer, Dobie Healer. Thank you. Thank you for just saying, well, she's a perp. Look at her. All right, let's continue.
I see a press conference where the state AG is making these hyperbolic, extravagant statements about what he saw, where the sheriff is talking about livestock, is just simply, it's beyond disingenuous, frankly. It appears to me, from what I understand, that these people are really just trying to criminalize poverty and an extremely impoverished family. As many people in the media have already noted and have already discovered, the kids who have been described as feral, been described as illiterate, it's my understanding that as the internet does what it does, it's come out that these older kids had social media pages, Facebook pages, Snapchat pages, which speaks to a couple of things. Number one, if they're so illiterate, how are they posting things?
Again, guys, here we are. There's a defense. I am not her defense attorney. I'm not Elizabeth's defense attorney, but this is what's happening. They are trying to push her forward first so that she can get her kids back, but they're not going to do that until the DNA tests come back and she has a proper jury trial, unless this guy can get some kind of plea deal for the mom to be on house arrest or something like that. It's frustrating when people don't realize that this happened in a vacuum. No, I mean, it is. This is a woman who was 13 when she was pregnant, essayed because she was too young to consent, barely had 8th grade education. But there's two sides to it. And I agree, Kalisa, but I also got to agree with who said that earlier. She could also be a girl that was out of control, that didn't listen to her parents and did what she wanted. We just don't know that yet. Do you know what I'm saying? That's all. That's what I'm trying to get at. We don't know. All we have is this defense attorney talking and the documentation that we have.
Online. Number two, if these are kids who are trapped in this place, how are they able to have? Typically, when you see cases where people are trapped or they're not allowed to go do things freely, they're not given internet access. They're not given social media pages.
Yeah, I get it.
Furthermore, I've seen the inside of this house. I'm pretty sure that the state AG did not see the inside of this house, because when he was making these descriptive statements about what he saw or what he smelled.
See, that's what I was saying too, but Flojo, that's because she waived her right. They all waived their rights to preliminary hearing, and she signed off to go to trial now. That's why, Flojo. That's the key to this. They all have their attorneys, but she's the one that wants to get out. Allegedly, the first thing she said to them was, "Where are my kids? Are they safe?" So the defense attorney is saying she wants to get out and get her kids back. That's why this is happening. They all have different defenses. Remember, her husband was out doing something with his diak and showing it off to the public. That's how they stumbled upon this. Each one of them has their own defense. All right, that's why.
I'm going to go ahead and guess that he was getting that secondhand from a number of people. And I think for him to come out and, again, make these hyperbolic statements without himself being really a part of it was just frankly inappropriate.
No.
Well, the AG said he was outside the house. He didn't go in. What have you seen of the inside of the house? Because we're just seeing the photos that were taken, their press photos from the outside of the house. And obviously it does look like it might be a little bit unkept, a little, it looks dirty. But what have you seen that you are disputing the characterization of the 12 by 12 room and the feces and everything where these kids were kept?
So again, unfortunately, because of the very preliminary stage of the game, everything we've been sent essentially is marked as counsel only, which means I can't actually disclose full details of what I've seen. I can, however, say that I believe the characterization is overblown. I think when you describe that the outside was certainly unkept or was, perhaps looking dirty, I think people can look at the pictures for themselves and see that, but it's not illegal for something to be dirty. It's not illegal for a home to be unkempt. If so, I would suggest there's going to be a lot more people out there with criminal charges they're facing if simply having a few things out of place is really the.
So do you see where he's going with this? I mean, you guys can hear he's definitely downplaying what happened to the children. And thank you. This is another reason why I wanted to show this, because there's 2 children that were hospitalized and he's not even talking about the one that's still in ICU. Okay. So that's the thing. You got people that are like lame answer counsel, and then other people that are like, look at her. She's a victim. We don't need paperwork. Look at her. Well, she was a victim. You're right. At 13, she was a victim. At 15, she was a victim. But there's a point where she became not a victim when her brother said, hey, let's get out of here. How can I help you? And she ditched him and said, no. Okay, there's a point. And we're going to hear all of it. And when we do, then we can make something more assumptions. But right now, that's what we have. We listen to the defense, the jury decides, and that's it.
Standard. I mean, that's not the standard for felonious, for secondary felony child endangering. So, they have quite the burden, I think.
He's totally downplaying it, and the prosecutor, so he downplayed it, and allegedly the prosecutor overplayed it is what he's saying. And yeah, they shouldn't have, that was insensitive to say third world countries and just because they're poor, they're dirty or what have you. But I don't think when first responders and prosecutors see a scene like that and they see 2 children 24 hours away from death and they see maggots and feces, and this has been going on for years, guys, I think their sensitivity level, they don't give 2 shits anymore. Okay, when they see that kind of stuff, it's disturbing for first responders to have to get victims out of a home like that and see the things and be in the things, all the stuff that they left and the mess and the whatever's going in there. So I get it.
To show what they have been describing in their various news conferences and press releases, et cetera. And I think having some pictures of a place being dirty is not going to cut it.
I know, right? See?
Well, they said they were in a 12 by 12 room, though, with feces and flies all over the place. So, I mean, that's pretty gross. And 2 of them were taken to a level 1 trauma center. So that's pretty serious. I know the other children were treated and released from area hospitals.
That's right. And so, again, that at this point, we haven't gotten any documentation to show where they've been taken, what the basis for their hospitalization was, if in fact they were hospitalized. I don't know what the status is of these children, because again, the state hasn't shared that information with us.
So he's just, again, he's doing a PR campaign. He wants to get her out. Jody, another good answer. A victim can also be a perpetrator. One doesn't negate the other, in my opinion. Drugs is not an excuse to abuse your children, nor does being groomed give you an excuse to do what have been done to this children. Thank you. Thank you for being part of a perspective and not just saying, what are you talking about? Look at her. How could you say that? Cause we don't know. She's being charged right now with the same thing that everyone else is. She is in jail, locked up, ready for a trial. She literally waived her hearing and is going straight to a trial, right? Okay, let's continue. Let's see. I saw someone say she valued her life over her babies. Exactly. So then it gets to there. They live in small. I know there's only 714 people. They said there was only 200 people in their little community. It's like a village. So it's 714 people there, but 200 people in that village, Flojo, and nobody knew. The brother says that's a lie.
So, there was clearly a lot of children there. And I'm not going to come out here and suggest that I know exactly what was going on there, because I don't. And that's really the main point, of course, isn't it? That none of us were there. None of us were living there. The state did, I will say this to his credit, Prosecutor Archer, who is the county prosecutor down there, was very specific in saying that this was not an alleged trafficking case. But there's rumors that are flying everywhere about what was going on with these kids, what was happening to these children, whether there was other specific bits of abuse going on. And to date, I've seen no actual hard evidence to show there was any specific abuse that was being done to these children. Again, whether the question is that these children were in a home that was dirty and that rises to the level of child endangering, whether it rises to a certain felony level, that's something the state's going to have to prove, obviously, beyond a reasonable doubt. But, I wasn't in this home. I personally wasn't in this home. And that's why I'm not going to speak to what it smelled like or looked like specifically. But we don't have all of the.
Get out of here. You and Farrell were just chatting and wondering, were you giving her the benefit of the doubt? Well, you should also wonder if I want you in my chat. And the answer is absolutely not. Please get out of here and don't come back. Okay. Hey, chat that's been here for the whole time, put a 1 in chat if we're talking about Elizabeth being a victim and when she went to a perpetrator, and put a 2 in chat if you never want to see this chick again. How do I get her out, guys? Did you guys already remove her? Oh, you did it. Hold on. Yeah, please don't come back to my chat. I'm not even going to talk to you guys anymore. I don't want you to come to my chat, and I don't want anything to do with any of you. So stay away from my thing. I've already done what I was supposed to do. You guys stay away. I don't like you. I don't want to talk to you. Bye. All right, let's go. Hi, Avis. How you doing? Let's get. Oh, no, there's a few of them. They came in here to brag that they're still talking. I was just talking to Farrell and, how about you go right off?
Evidence. We don't have anything that's showing that these kids were locked in a basement or anything of that nature. This is not what people are trying to portray as a case where these kids were, chained in the basement or something like that. Something extravagant like you might see in a horror film. It wasn't that. That wasn't the situation, as far as my understanding. So I think, again, we all need to take a step back and let the facts actually bear out.
So your client.
Did you hear that? Take a step back and let the facts play out, okay? Farrell and Best Buy, and you guys want me to start talking about who Farrell and all you guys are? Okay, I didn't think so. Thank you. Just stay out. Get the fuck out of here. Yeah, there's my professional. Clip that and go post content on your channel, all right? But really, I mean, today's episode really is Ohio House of Horrors. What else did they find? 1 mom, 16 kids, conjoined twins, and we're going to trial. All right. We don't know any of that. That's the problem. We can't say any of that because we can look at her and assume that. But what if she was just malnourished from having a bunch? And I'm not saying she was just malnourished. What if her paleness is coming from not leaving the house, not having enough vitamins because she's given birth to 20 children for the last, 15 or 20 years, right? Yes, more. Yes, more. I love you more. Yes. Yes. Mwah. Shout out to you. Next time I give something away, I'm giving it to you. Thank you for understanding. Yeah, the facts are bad, period. But we're not going to hide behind them and say, well, look at her.
Client, Gary Siders Sr., we saw him when he was in court for his initial appearance. And
exactly.
He was in a wheelchair. Do you know anything about your client, about his physical state, his health, his mental state?
Frankly, I've seen what you've seen, which is it appears that he has limited mobility. My understanding is that he had difficulty hearing. It also seemed they had difficulty understanding the judge.
But do you see that? He is her defense, and he's going to put a strong defense on for her. I'm sure that the town, right? The whole town, Jay usually likes to read. Yeah, I do. I like to piss the trolls off so that they can go post about it, and then I can see my ugly face all over everywhere else. All right, listen, it's real bad. I'm glad you said this. I breastfed for 7 years, and my teeth started eroding away. That happens. That happens when you from 13 to 33, you're just having 20 kids back to back, never not pregnant. Okay, so that could be misconstrued, but I really do think that her defense attorney is going to give her the best defense that he can. And can I tell you guys something else? That county is already changing laws. And can I tell you why they're changing laws? Because they know they messed up. There's no way this whole town and the prosecutor and all these people would be picking up the pieces and being like, oh shit, we messed up. Guys, they're already changing laws before we can look again, because now the whole world is looking at this little 200-person village. All right. I know it doesn't. It really doesn't. Again, this is a case that fuels emotions, but don't let your emotions take over what the facts are. Okay. This is her defense attorney, and she's going to get the best defense she can.
So I have some of the same concerns that anyone else might have looking at a person whose competence might be in question. As anyone who knows anything about the law knows, the very first step is to ensure that your client is competent. You can't move forward otherwise. So one of the basic tenets of my criminal defense of Mr. Siders is going to make sure that he's competent to even stand trial, let alone any of the other defenses we might raise. So I guess the short answer is no, I haven't been able to talk to him yet. I don't know anything other than what everyone else has seen, which is what happened at the arraignment, what took place there, et cetera, et cetera.
Tommy Stolley, the attorney for Elizabeth Siders, I saw him in an interview, and he said that her first question was, where are my kids?
Exactly. All right. So let's listen now. Elizabeth Siders gets all the focus from all of you guys and from me. All right. Now she gets it. There's 4 people in this case, and they're all being charged the same right now. Now it's your turn, Elizabeth, without somebody so rudely coming in. All right, I just made me think my mom had 10 in 13 years. Exactly, more. Thank you. There are smart people in here. Postpartum depression, maybe she might have had that. Oh, exactly. But that's why I asked the question, where did she go from victim to not being? Because right now she's being charged the same as they all are. So yeah, I think there's all of those things are a factor. It's not one thing or the other. It's all things. All right. I lose my ever-loving mind over PMDD. I can't imagine. I know, right? I don't know. Yeah. I really do hope that she gets the best defense that she can. Oh my God, you guys. All right, let's continue. I can handle funny and stupid, but I can't handle people that I've already dealt with. All right, I will just say that before I continue to talk more.
She wanted to know where her children were. It wasn't how much time am I facing or anything like that. Have you had any discussions with the other attorneys in this case regarding their clients and their reactions to this?
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, I've had some, again, brief initial discussions with the other attorneys. At this point, it's obviously we are all representing the individual interests of our individual clients, but they are a family. So it's my gut feeling that in many.
So earlier somebody came in here and said that he is not her attorney, that he is this guy's attorney, but he's not. Maybe he is on top of it, but right now he's advocating to her. He's advocating for her to the fullest. Again, this is the mom that was an underage pregnancy and everybody missed everything 20 kids later. All right. So she is hopefully getting the best defense, because right now the jury's not going to say, look at her, let's let her off. They're going to see all the paperwork and she's going to trial. If Elizabeth had this amount of babies and could not recover, she could have easily sever and nonstop postpartum depression. Well, that's where her responsibility, where does her responsibility, where do you put that down and pick it up? You know what I mean?
Gut feeling that in many cases their interests will overlap. So I have had some discussions with the other attorneys, specifically again about some of that very preliminary discovery that we've all received and what our general thoughts are. I sort of make it a point not to talk to other attorneys about their client-attorney conversations, as that is, of course, privileged information and confidential. But it's not surprising to me that a mother would ask about the condition of her children, bearing in mind that, these are people minding their own business and a litany of officers come rushing in with guns. And
this is where it gets ridiculous. It's more ridiculous than the trolls that come in here. They were just minding their own business when a litany of law enforcement officers just rolled in. Two children were 24 hours away from death. 2 of them were airlifted. 1 of them still in the intensive care unit. Conjoined twins died. Who knows how many others died and what they're going to find there. And they were just minding their own business. See, that's when it gets ridiculous. All right. That is absolutely absurd. 16 children in that home, and I named them all off, and the dates aren't mathing. The math isn't mathing with her having all of those children. But the whole point is, yeah, he is her defense attorney, and I hope she gets the best defense she can. But that's bullshit. You tell me that there was nothing wrong with that? Did you hear what he just said? Oh, yes, thank you. Ohio is in so much trouble. Thank you for saying that. All right. Luna Wolf, I've never spoke here, but want to let you know I appreciate and love how you run the channel. Well, thank you, Luna. I appreciate that. And welcome. There's my strong arm for you. All right. Hey, you guys are welcome to have an opinion. But if I don't like you and I already haven't liked you for the last 2 years and you know I don't and I blocked you, don't come back in my chat. How about that? But have opinions.
Arrest them. Don't let them, check on their kids first. I can imagine someone like that being concerned about their children.
Gary Siders Jr., your client's son, faces 4 counts of public indecency.
Again, why does he look healthier than every single person? Yes, he's white. Yeah, like his skin's white is what I mean. He's pale. They're all really pale. Grandma and grandpa are on the verge of death. And this guy is over there with his, red eyes, never working a day, just knocking up who knows what and who. I think he's probably going to get the most hefty charges, in my opinion, I bet.
Client's son faces 4 counts of public indecency. He's accused of exposing himself at the house to people who were not his family. We know about that, but law enforcement has been tight-lipped about what initially brought them to that house, the search warrant that was being executed. Those documents are sealed. Do you know anything about this parallel investigation that brought Ohio BCI and the Sheriff's Department to the Siders home?
Unfortunately, I don't. And as you sort of alluded to, it would seem pretty odd for a couple of misdemeanor counts of indecent exposure to generate the type of response that happened at this house. I would also be very interested to see what this search warrant said, what the basis for the search warrant was, how they were able to obtain such a search warrant, because I have a hard time believing, first of all, if all it was an arrest warrant, then none of this could have happened. So clearly it wasn't just those charges, because if it were, they would have a simple arrest warrant. They would ask for Mr. Siders Jr. to come out, and that would have been the end of it. So obviously there was more there. I'm sure that I and all of my other colleagues who are representing the co-defendants.
Well, the fact that they put it in the prosecution, they're prosecuting it as 16 children being locked in a 12 by 12 basement in unlivable conditions. Literally, that's what it says. All right. That they were locked in the house. We don't know. They wouldn't speak to law enforcement. First responders were like out of their mind. Spiders, rats, feces, no water. Come on, guys. They were just what? Right. Thank you. Thank you. They were just minding their own business when the SWAT team came in and saved 2 children by going to ICU and flight lifted. That's not a problem. But Linda, welcome. Hit that like button and check all notifications. If you would, come on back. Hello, Latchkey Gypsy. Welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. You guys, please welcome our new folks here. Thank you. Welcome. All right.
We'll all be very interested to see what the basis for the search warrant was.
The basis for the search warrant.
So your next step, obviously, is to go.
You notice how Anjanette Levy just said, She has not really talked to him because every answer he gives her, she does not like, and I love it. Watch. Hold on. I gotta go back for a second. It's like a funny.
To see what the basis for the search warrant was.
So your next step, obviously, is to go to the jail in Southeast Ohio, meet with Gary Siders Sr., and meet your client and talk to him and see what he has to say.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, the first step, again, is...
So there you go. He is an attorney for him and her. But that's all I have. I don't have any other paperwork. When I get it, I'll make a chart. All right. Oh, bro, especially he stank like they say AC. I'd be mad. You guys are funny.
Ensuring that he is competent, that's going to be a concern just based on what I myself have been able to view in the public, and same thing the public has seen. And then make sure I explain to him the process, the procedure. I don't really know what Mr. Siders' criminal history is like or what involvement he's had with the court system. So after I determine he is competent, if in fact he is, which again, that is a question at this point, but if I'm able to determine that he is competent, and even if he's not, my best attempt is going to be to explain the process, the procedure, what the next steps are. And again, as we sort of talked about earlier, the state's burden to go before a grand jury and bring some sort of evidence to attempt to get an indictment.
Yeah. Well, we'll keep an eye on it. We're as interested as you are. We might be more interested, but we're interested to learn what the basis for the search.
Well, thank you for saying that, Jane, because we don't know. We only know what they're telling us. And when I covered this, I think 2 days ago, all they said was there's a 12 by 12 lock room and everything else doesn't have access and the children are locked in it. Today, they referred to a basement. So if there is no basement, I'd like to know what the house layout is like and where the children actually were. Is the prosecutor overreaching? That's a good question, guys. Is this an overreach? Do you think this is an overreach for prosecution? Is this, or did they just get out of control and they're overreaching for something? You guys tell me.
Warrant was, why they went in there, the actual condition of the children, and much more. Dorian Baum, thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate your time.
Thank you. I appreciate having me on here. I'll be happy to talk with you again.
The 4 Siders family members remain in the regional jail in Southeast Ohio. Each is being held on a $300,000 bond. No word yet on whether more charges could be coming, but the prosecutor left open that possibility. All of the Siders have pleaded not guilty to these child endangering charges. So stay tuned. We'll keep an eye on this case.
Now, guys, the prosecutor is pissed. We got two separate versions of everything here, and the prosecution is not saying, "Oh, we just stumbled upon it," and Yeah, I don't know. The house didn't look like it had much of anything, to be honest with you. So it'll be interesting to find out. If you guys want, we can see what happened in court today. I can zap you over there. Grandpa Paw looks like he's sleeping. It doesn't even look like the guy's awake. Again, unless the DNA testing comes back and shows that Grandpa's DNA is mixed in there, or unless maybe the children will start talking and say, Grandpa used to touch me. We don't know. I'm just saying, I'm just giving you an idea of what could be happening in this case. All right. So this happened today. They were there in court. They all waived their right to a preliminary hearing, and mom signed a document to go to trial. Done. All right. And now we know that guy that's defending her is also defending this guy. It's unclear if they're defending all of them or one. I just don't know. All right, I'll do that. Thank you. Thank you, Philo Joe. All right, let's check out court for a minute. I got to be careful, though, because this local news station, man, you can't play it for longer than a certain amount of time. All right, let's go. Let's check this out real quick. This was today in court.
For you. So these are the 4 people that were arrested. There were 4 family members last week that were arrested after investigators were serving a search warrant at a home in Vinton County on Ulmer.
Do you see how much better she looks now, the mom? I do want to know what her side is. You know what I'm saying? Her side is, yeah, I either had 20 babies or I didn't. The babies were from that. Once we hear her side and we get the documentation we need, then we'll understand where she lies in this case and her responsibility. And then ultimately, we're not the judge, jury, or executioner. That's going to be the court system that we're looking at now. So none of us are going to hit that gavel and say, you're sentenced to 25 to life. None of us are going to do any of that. None of that matters. Our opinions of this case don't mean a thing. All right. Except to us having a conversation. Welcome, Wyatt. Good to see you, buddy.
Investigators were serving a search warrant at a home in Vinton County on Ulmer Road there. And so when deputies got to that home, they found 16 children who were allegedly kept isolated in a 12 by 12 room. Investigators described those conditions as deplorable, pure evil. And we know that
you see the stark difference between deplorable and pure evil versus a victim. You guys hear that, right? And the search warrant was for him not doing what he was supposed to do. It wasn't a search warrant for the house because of exposure. It's because he showed everyone his little peepee in public on March 23rd and then again on the 27th and didn't show up where he was supposed to. So they went to that house and you could smell the feces and everything from outside. All right. That's what first responders said. That was one of the first things they said when they got on site is they can't get that smell out of their face, out of their nose.
Many of those children had to be taken to a hospital for care, 2 of them being life-flighted. The others were evaluated by medical professionals. Investigators say those children likely didn't leave that room for the last 4 years, 16 children. So we told you last week that Elizabeth Siders, Gary Siders Jr., Christina Siders, and Gary Siders Sr. were all charged with 16 counts of child endangerment.
Yeah, we're not playing favorites here. They're all charged with the exact damn same thing, guys. That's it. That's all. All right. And thank you. So Flojo just sent me a picture. And in that picture, before we get back to this, let me show you this. Thank you so much, my guy. All right. So here's their house. There's the basement, friends. There's the basement. So there's a door from the outside. You can see it's 182 Omer Street. Or whatever. I'm sure that's right around there. If that's the exact address, it's not in front of me. But there you go. There's a basement door. And that makes perfect sense that there's a 12 by 12 square underneath that drops down here. Okay? Because, guys, I showed you the square footage of this house. And in the square footage of this house, it's over 1,300 square feet. So that doesn't make sense if there's not a basement. Okay? It doesn't make sense to be actually 1,300 and something square feet. It doesn't make sense for them to have that many square feet in that house without going down. So again, we only know as much as we do. Jules RC, Jules. I don't know. I have no idea. Thank you guys. I guess it's a good thing Grandpa flashed himself. It wasn't Grandpa that flashed himself. It was Dad. It was Gary Siders Jr. that flashed himself. All right. What else? Let's go back to court real quick. Let's zoom back to court. Yeah, that's not really the floor plan. I don't know what the house looks like, but we did look at the house. And I just wanted to show you guys the 12 by 12 room where they're locked and everything else was around that they didn't have access to. All right. But my first time chatting, I heard that people are harassing the sister of a father. Wait, what? You probably won't see this, but this is my first time chatting. Well, hello, Luna. People are harassing the sister of the father of 16 kids. Yeah, they are. They're actually harassing everybody in the family, Luna. Her Elizabeth Siders' brother is talking about that as well. And so is Gary's family because they're getting death threats and they didn't even know about any of this. So you're right. We talked about that and we actually showed that and read it at the beginning of the episode. So thank you. I did read it and welcome. All right, back to court.
Last week, a judge on behalf of all 4 defendants entered a not guilty plea for each of them. So they had a chance to meet with their attorneys, confer, and all of their bonds were set at $300,000. And like we said, this all came after police executed a search warrant at the Siders' home in the Hamden area of Vinton County. That was part of an ongoing investigation. It's what investigators are calling a parallel investigation. We still, at this point in time, do not know the exact reason.
See, and that's why, although we're speculating that they went there because of the indecency, it's still not 100% documented. So it could change. All right. So you're hearing that they're calling it a parallel investigation, right? That's like same thing as Stephen Stearns. Stephen Stearns, they were looking at him for Maddie missing. And you know what the parallel investigation was? Finding all the CSAM on his phone. So he gets 1 trial for CSAM and 1 trial for taking her life. Same here. 2 parallel, and there's no documentation that solidifies 100% that they went there for that. But we're speculating. All right. And nobody should be. Absolutely not. If you guys were in yesterday's episode, members only, you know we don't like harassing anybody. And we don't like treating people like crap. It's better if they go. All right, let's continue.
why investigators were called to that home to begin with. That's a question that we're still working to learn, but it's one that investigators have held back from releasing because they say they don't want it to let it compromise their other investigation. And so when we get to this point, we said that all four of those people, all four Siders, were charged with 16 counts of child endangerment charges. So what was really the next step in their court appearances today? They were all expected to have preliminary hearings.
See, she does look a lot better now. I think she's actually better off there right now, being fed, and hopefully she's having, I really do hope that they're getting her psych evals, etc. I think it would be very, I think it would be a bad decision if they didn't do that, guys, because she has been pregnant. People say that they haven't not seen her pregnant. They've never not seen her pregnant, and that makes sense with the dates of the children. So maybe she can have time to step back and cool out and realize that she was groomed into this, and this is not the way to live, right? Maybe she'll get some medicine that helps her and, you know, gain some weight back and regain the mental stability that she obviously didn't have while having children all those years. So it might be good for her, and then we can see the defense. I want to know what she has to say.
And just minutes before those preliminary hearings were expected to start today, the judge that was in charge walked out of the room in court and addressed the members of the press that were waiting there and said that all four have waived. Their attorneys are present, and so that was really the update that we had. And so let's go ahead and kind of break you down. If you don't know what a preliminary hearing is, that is essentially, those are usually scheduled maybe 10 to 15 days after a person is arrested.
Hey, thank you for coming in here, Sapone. Hello, I'm a friend of one of the 16 kids. I'm so anxious. So okay, so you see that Sapone, that little icon there is like a little, maybe like the stuff on YouTube, the little animes and things. So if you're friends with one of the 16 kids, were they communicating with you online? How can they be friends if they are locked up? See, that's where we don't know. So I'm asking you that, Sapone. I'm completely asking you, how were you friends with them if they were locked up? I heard they had social media, but I want to know. And I'm not questioning you like a bad way. I'm asking you, tell me more. All right, let's continue.
And at that preliminary hearing, a judge reviews if there's enough evidence to determine probable cause.
True.
If you are criminally charged, you do have the right to waive a preliminary hearing.
Yep.
And what that does essentially is it sends the case to what is called a grand jury. And that is where a prosecutor presents the evidence to a grand jury. Grand jury is made up of, it can range anywhere from 12 to 16, even 20 people who essentially meet to decide if there's enough evidence to formally charge a person.
Okay, so there you go. So if you're friends on Discord, that makes sense, with one of them actually a really close friend. So that means they did have outside communication, and Discord is the place to be. I know, right? I've got children, and yeah, Discord is where you go when after you're doing Snapchat or videos or what have you. And that house, look at the house. It's a better view of the house from here. You can see that it's not just a box. And in case you guys missed this is not the layout of the house. This was my layout of the house, just to show you the 12 by 12 locked room, just to give you an idea. I don't know what the layout of their real house looks like. I haven't seen it. I went on to the app, to the, where you find the houses to buy, and we found all that, but they don't have a layout or any pictures of the inside of the house. Thank heavens, the divine intervention has stepped in. We need to keep praying for this divine intervention for truth and protection of these poor children. Thank you. Thank you for saying that, because the children are the victim in this case, and we don't know if Elizabeth is or not just yet. Killing Time in NE, welcome. I heard you last night voting for guilty of crime on Turtle Island. Thank you, my friend. Queen, just getting here. Hello, my friend. Good to see you. All right, let's continue.
With a crime. The formal charge that you often hear is what's called an indictment. And so at that point in time, there's not usually attorneys present when the grand jury is meeting. That is really just the prosecution. And so they have to have enough evidence for a grand jury to say, yes, we will formally charge the person with a crime. And so today we were expecting to have that preliminary hearing. And what comes next is all 4 of those defendants, all 4 of the Siders, will now have their cases sent to a grand jury. Grand juries typically meet. It depends on the county. Some meet twice a year. Some meet 3 times a year. It really depends on what the county's kind of system is set up for. And so if they do indict the Siders, each of them,
they're going to be indicted, guys. This is just the, what they have to talk about. These are the legality of things. All right. And an indictment will come. You remember we were anxiously waiting for David and Celeste case. And they were like, if they don't indict David today, they're going to let him go. Guys, this is the media. We're in 2026 now. We're all, even though YouTube has taken over a lot of the media, news stations are modeling themselves now after YouTubers because they want the views, they want the interaction, so they're putting out as much shit as they can. All right. Sapone says, my friend could speak and write, but she taught her siblings like a mother and a parents didn't do nothing. Thank you for that. And I figured, because if you're locked in a room like that and you're online, you can read and you can write. There's no way you can't read and write in this day and age if you're on social media. I know it fills in the blanks for you and you can talk to text, but thank you for clarifying that, Sapone. Much love to you. Keep coming back. All right. Thank you. Thank you, Kinley's mom. I'm new here and already subbed because you're so awesome. Plus, you're being fair at the right times and fucking outraged at the others. Thank you. Thank you, Kinley's mom. I appreciate that. I really do. All right, let's continue.
Would have a case moved out of the municipal court where they're at, and then they would have their case sent over to the common pleas court, and that would really be the next step. So it's unclear at this point in time, as we've just received word from the judge, when the next grand jury meets in Vinton County. That's something we're still trying to track down as far as a timeline of.
Look, Grandpa's sleeping. Yes, I just showed the picture of the door that Flojo sent me. It looks like the 12 by 12 room was in the basement, and there's actually an external door that goes into the basement, which makes sense. Ashmungi. I figured older ones were taking. Yeah, I figured too. I figured they just threw them all at the bunch of kids. Jody. Oh, I'm sorry, Jay. I keep popping in and out because my 85-year-old dad's playing with this phone. It's all good. We can video call. That's cute.
We could see that. In some cases, they don't always go to the first grand jury.
Yes.
Let's say there may be a grand jury scheduled to meet in August and then another one in November. Well, depending on the caseload that is already within the county, sometimes those cases can be pushed to the next jury to meet. So it's something that we're still going to work out, get some details on as far as the timing. Of course, once we have that, we'll bring it to you here on WSAZ Plus, and we'll update you as well. But I did want to make sure that we got you.
No, listen, Crispy Dandy, thank you for coming here. Hit the like button. Make sure you hit all the notifications. You're not confused, Crispy. There is a set of conjoined twins that passed away in 2022. That is true. And if you want to know what's true and what's not, just follow the channels that show you documentation and tell you whether it's speculation or there's documentation. You see that? That is conjoined. Those were conjoined twins. In between all of her other alleged pregnancies in 2022, they died because they were born at 24 weeks old and they were conjoined. They only lived for an hour, and then that day they lived, they're born, they died, and that's the plaque for them. All right. You said I'm the same age as my friend, and I indeed asked if everything was okay for a long time, but she always said everyone was doing all right. Now I feel guilty. There's nothing you could do, Sapone. Everybody else around there saw what was happening, and it was meant for law enforcement to have to break that up. The only thing is, Sapone, is they should have done that sooner. All right. That's on them. That's not on you. That's not on anyone else. That's on them. That Ohio, little town of Ohio, Vinton, is changing laws right now because they know the world's looking at them and they're not happy.
That update, because that is still a key step in the legal system, in the legal process for each of the Siders. Now, we do know that all of them had public attorneys appointed by the court system to represent them in this case. We know that all of those attorneys are different people. They are not represented by the same person. And so They have been assigned their lawyers. And like I said, we'll await the next future court hearing.
And that's why the math ain't mathin', and we're wondering what's going to come back on those DNA tests. Are some of the children going to be other kids' children that were with the father, or is it literally all just hers? We're going to find out answers soon, guys. So buckle up, buckle in, hit your notification, and make sure that you stay up on this case and don't find the stuff that's not real, because there's a lot of channels that aren't real. Thank you all for the support. I hope and we do too. There's one more child in the ICU, intensive care unit, and you know what? I hope they make it through. And yeah, law enforcement should have stopped this. The welfare system should have stopped this. The community should have stopped this. And they know it's no one's fault, but yes, the people that are arrested right now. And that's all allegedly. Yes, thank you. You guys are awesome, man. All right, let's continue. We've been here for a long time.
Which is not scheduled yet because it now has to go through a grand jury. So that's a little bit of kind of the legal 101 when you're looking at something like this. This case has brought attention nationally. We've seen lots of reports of it being covered. And so
that's why they're scrambling, because Vinton County, Ohio hasn't had this type of audience probably ever, guys. And if YouTubers start going out there to Ohio and planting themselves in front of the house, oh boy, that's going to be crazy, huh? I don't want to play too much of her stuff because they don't like that.
Don't know what that parallel investigation is. So we are also expecting some type of update from investigators at this point in time. Again, like I said, once we get that for you, we'll bring it here on WSAZ.
All right, so we're going to knock this down. We still have 700 people in chat. Let's do this real quick. Let's just do a quick recap of, let me show you guys something just so you can see the visual. For anybody that came in late and is like, what happened? Okay. So number one, today we found out Bailey Lee and Faith Lee Siders were conjoined twins. They were joined at the chest area. They lived only for an hour or so that day. They were born November 20th, 2022, and they died November 20th, 2022. All right. Now let's continue down here. Look at the children that they found in the home, guys. Okay. Now this chart doesn't show whether it's a boy or girl. I do have that, but you're going to have to go back to my episode you're going to have to go back to my other episode to see the ages. 16 kids found in the home. And then we're going to add 2 more on top of that for the conjoined twins. There were 3 sets of twins. Now we have 4 sets of twins with the conjoined twins. All right. So those 16 kids in the home are all alive. A pair of twins at age 1, a pair of twins at age 2, a pair of twins at age 4. Oh, wow. 1, 2, 4. Okay. And then not twins anymore. 5, 6, 8, 10, 11, 13, 14, 15, 16, and 18. Those are all the children that were in that 12 by 12 locked area. Okay. So that's that. Yeah, I know, right? That was that. And they are placing them in wherever they can now. They're saying that they're safe. So that puts it into perspective how many kids were in the home. And then you add the conjoined twin. And then I have another thing I wanted to show. Let me pull this down. Remove. Let me see if I can put this up real quick. I got Cuff you shared this with me, but so did Tiff. And let's take a look real quick. Oh, I wish I could see that better, guys. I can't see that enough. I can look here. Okay, so let me zoom in here. Here's the overview, guys, based on the information presented in court hearing as of July 4th. Okay, are you guys with me? Let me do this. Oh, it's not even zooming in. It's not zooming in for you guys. Hold on. All right, what do you mean check my email? I got one already. Deets on the house. All right, so what's on the house? We got 1336 square foot, and it's a 1-story built in 1900. Oh, now we got it. The basement's 518 square feet. Okay, so let me pull that up real quick. Let me remove this and pull that up. All right, thank you. Look at that. There it is. We figured it out. Thank you, Synth. So the basement is 518 square feet. There is a basement, my friends. Thank you, Flojo. Thank you, Synth. Thank you to all the people that are here while we're working this out together. This is a one-story house built in the year 1900. It's 1,336 square feet on the top with a shingle roof and a basement that's 518 square feet. Okay? Now, there's no confusion, my friend. There's no confusion. The mom and the dad, right now, as of the charges, sweet truth, the mom is Elizabeth Siders and the dad is Gary Siders Jr. Right now, the mom and dad are Gary and Elizabeth of all 16 children. All right? No confusion here. I don't want you guys to be confused by any means. All right? Let me see. It's not zooming in then, huh? Let me see if I can do this a different way. Hold on. Remove this. Move. Hold on. What else do we have on the house? Did we have something else? I don't want to share my email. Hold on. Oops. Stop screen. All right. Window. Okay, this one will be better. Let's take a look at this, guys. This will give you the 1,000-foot overview, and then we'll say goodbye. I'm back. Missed the channel. Anna Scott. Hey, how you doing? Okay, this is important, guys. This will give you the 1,000-foot view of what's happening, okay? So if you just rolled in and you're confused AF, don't worry. We're going to help you, all right? What I've heard so far is that the room was inside the house and the basement was not the room the kids were found in. The basement is 518 square feet. The room they were in was only, well, yeah, you're right, because 12 by 12 wouldn't equal 518 square feet. And you see how we work it out while we're on here? Yeah, that's small. Yeah, exactly. I don't know. All right, Holly, thank you so much. She says, choo, choo. Hey, I'm happy to get a super chat and someone be nice, right? Not to look up at Steve or any of those. All right. But a room in the basement, it would. Yeah. Thank you for clarifying that. There is a room in the basement and the door that goes down there. We just don't have a solidified map of the house yet. All right. Now let me go over this real quick. And you guys can talk amongst yourselves again. Thank you, Holly. Let me get to this. Hey, Wes, buddy, where you going? Where you going, mister? That way. Hold on. Sorry, guys. Wes is. Hold on, real quick. 1 second. Keep going, bud. Keep going. Come on, keep going. Oh my goodness. Look here. All right, put this in quick. That'll make me feel better. All right, can you guys see it? Make sure. All right, so I didn't get Wes because he had to go potty, but I got pieces. All right, pieces is good for the soul. Let me look at this, and then, guys, basement would have been unfinished. One thing I built back then, right? We'll figure out, but we're putting it together with what we have. All right, so quick overview, case file overview, July 4th. All right, listen, guys. Gary Siders Sr. is Gary Siders Jr.'s dad, and so is Christina Lynn Siders. That's his mom and his dad. All right, and that is Elizabeth Siders that allegedly gave birth to 20 children per her brother. Now, guys, the 16 children were found at the residence. The Conjoined twins don't have anything to do with this case. She had them at the hospital. They died and they buried them. Okay. Nothing illegal about that. During the execution, the warrant on June 30th, they found 16 children in Vinton County. Larger birth family. See, now this one has 19 children, and that's where I know. That's what I know. 16. Well, actually, I only know 18 of them because 16 were found in the house, and the other two, the Conjoined twins passed away. So that would be 18 children. So I don't know where this other one is. I did hear that Elizabeth Siders or Cedars had a baby before she was married to this douchebag bub. All right. So look at 1, 2, 3, 4. All 4 of them are all across the board. 16 counts of endangering children. And then F2, I don't know, that's a felony too. And it may be upgraded based on the conditions of the children that went to the ICU. One is still in the intensive care unit. We don't know if he's going to be okay. We don't know if it's a he or a she, to be honest with you. I don't. Now, take a look at this real quick. Look at the size of this. This tells you right here. This is the birth family timeline. These are the children of Elizabeth and Gary Siders. So people roll in and say, I'm so confused. Who's the mom and who's the dad? Elizabeth and Gary are the mom and dad. But look at those dates, guys. Look at those dates. How did she have all of that now? How could she have started having those children? She got married in 2008. That means she was having the moment. Oh, shit. Hold on. Excuse me. The moment she got married, she was knocked up. All right. In 2026. Okay. So no, I don't know why they put 2020. These are the people. These are the children in the house. Age 18. All right. So there's an 18-year-old. There's the initials. There's a 16-year-old. And there's the date of birth. So 18, 16, 15, 14, 13, 11, 10, 8, 6, 5, 4 for a set of twins. 2 passed away. Those are the conjoined twins. There's another set of twins that they found alive. And then another set of twins that are found alive. And then I don't know what the 19th one is or if she's pregnant. That's a great question. Great question, because the brother said that she's gave birth to 20 children. So that doesn't account for this one and another one that we don't know about. But if you look at the dates of their birth, I mean, I'm not doing math. I'm just looking at the dates of the birth, and it's like she either was pregnant directly right away or other people were having kids as well. She wasn't the only one birthing. All right. So then there's 4 sets of twins. When you break it all down, that's what happened right there. That's what happened today. We got 4 sets of twins. Kinley's mom, I heard that the family say Crystal was a controlling person. He definitely ran about the house. I don't even know who Crystal is, but say hi to Pieces. All right, so look at that, guys. If she gave birth to all those children, she had 4 sets of twins. 3 of them were alive, found alive, and the other ones they passed away at birth. But look at the dates. Look at the dates. Look at that. February 10th, 2022, they're alive. How in the hell, guys? Tell me how in the hell you can have a set of twins that is alive February 10th, 2022, and then have another set of twins March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, 9 months after she lost the twins, or 9 months after she had the twins, she lost twins. That's right at that line, guys. Holy crap is right. Holy crap is right. All right. Look at that. That alone. Now look at the children's birth chart. Okay. Look at that. If she had all those kids by herself, that's going to be amazing. If the DNA comes out that she is the only mom and he's the only dad, I'm going to be surprised. All right. They also said there was no at-home births, cats meow. They literally said there was no at-home births. All right. Again, that's why we were talking about incest at the way. Yeah, but they passed away at 24 weeks. So they passed away at 24 weeks, and then she got right to it again and got pregnant that freaking week, and then had it could be possible. And you're right. I don't want to lock myself in, Lucky, because when the DNA tests come back, we'll find out. All right. So there you go. That is crazy. This whole case is wild. And I now realize we're going to have a hell of a time in this case. And there's going to be a lot of trolls. But that's okay, guys. We play with trolls around here. And for the rest we don't want to play with, we just kick them out. All right. So that being said, my sons, how could they only be 3 months apart? Wait, what? That's not even possible. I don't even know. You tell me how that's possible. Please have this birth certificates in the hospital. No, they're doing DNA tests all across the board because they suspect incest. So they want to know whose parents who, and they think that there's inbreeding going on, to be honest. The prosecutor and they've said that in the news that they believe there's a possibility of incest. She's so tired. Look at how tired she is. Okay. No way, Jay. What? Irish twins. Yeah, you can have Irish twins, but you still need to, it's back to back, not in the same week. Carol. All right, I'm not even gonna get into all this anymore. You guys see the deal. Here it is. These 4 people are locked up. All right, they are all charged with the same damn thing, and they're all waiting for their day in court. All right. That being said, inbreeding, incest, and is the mother of all of these children really a victim? Yeah, the twins were born early at 24 weeks and they passed. All right. So that being, I'm a pro at control. I'm a pro at troll control. I'm a pro at troll control. We'll come back then, because this case is already attracting the trolls, and I like to play with them sometimes. But frankly, some of them I just don't like. And if I don't like you, I don't even want to play with you. All right, if they all share the same DNA from the mom and dad and the brother and sister have incest, they can. Absolutely, they can tell, because each time that they breed with each other, it sounds like animals because they live like animals. Yes, each time they have, yes, they can. It gets stronger and stronger or weaker and weaker depending on who and what. So yeah, they'll be able to tell which document. There are no documents right now. That's mine that my mod sent me. All right, maybe twins were having kids. Yeah, we're just whatever. I don't know, Carol, but it's all good. There's not that many haters. Those were the haters from the old school. Those were from that was from the Madeline Soto days. They thought they wanted to come back and critique me. All right, Darlin' Jay, I'll be absolutely back. I'm absolutely loving the whole vibe. Well, thank you, Kinsley. Please come back, and thank you guys. Sadie's mama, I will do my best to get that on there. So yes, and Tiff's here. Tiff does a lot of. Tiff sent it to me. Tiff, all right. They all look worn out. They all look like they all look like zombies as well. All right. Anyway, different for each person in the family group. Yeah, exactly. And it gets weaker or stronger depending on the genes. If it's grandpa versus the dad, it's not going to, I mean, we have so much technology nowadays that, yeah, of course. All right. Kelsey Blue. Thank you for all you do, Jay. You seem to be such a kind, hardworking human being and great mom. You sure put your heart into your work. God bless you. Thank you. Thank you for saying that. God bless you. And you guys say a prayer for the children that they get into the right place. We don't want them ending up like the Turpin children, going from one abusive house to another. All right. Now, the dog's asleep. I'm going to go check on baby Guilty. Kelsey, thank you so much for the $5 super sticker. And you guys, I am out of here. I will be back tomorrow. Same time, same place, 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I'm in California, guys. Every day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, 4 p.m. California time, 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central. All right, guys, come back. Make sure you hit the notification so you can come back. All right, Marjorie and everybody else. Thank you. Love you guys, and I'll see you tomorrow. AC Frere. Thank you so much. Love you. And I love that everybody has a different perspective, and yet they're not pushing it on each other and acting like they know what's going on. Mwah. See you guys tomorrow. Good night. Bye. Pieces says bye.
Guilty of crime.
I want to thank you for watching. If you enjoyed my content, please share this video, like, and subscribe. You can also follow me over at Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, X, or Gmail. If you'd like to donate to my channel, you can use Cash App or Venmo or PayPal. Thank you very much in advance.
Guilty of crime. Are you guilty